Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Talk Radio.
Thank you, Baldy. Thank you, The Tramp. But whatever, someone dropped their guts in here, and that really is against the law. Busy show this evening. Have you seen The Tower? Oh, it's a good movie.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Take a far-out trip into the twilight zone of late-night radio with Iain
Unmissable late-night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Seriously, they were both pointing the finger of accusation at the other one. But either James Whale or Ash, one of those gentlemen, and I use that term very loosely, and I also use the term loose advisedly, dropped their guts in this studio. They passed air through poo, and I shouldn't have to work under these conditions. I'm a sick man. I've been off for a week with tonsillitis. I'm a sick man. I'm breathing in their germs, and any germs could send me off over the edge again. So this has to stop. This has to stop, dear listener. And boy, oh boy, luckily tomorrow's show is coming from a listener's house in Manchester. And I don't think we flagged that up enough this week. So we're going to flag that up a lot later on in the show. Tomorrow's show will be coming live from a bloke called John's house. He has pets that live in the house. I don't know if he's married. I don't know anything about him. I do not know anything about him. I just know he has pets. And tomorrow night show, and he lives in Manchester, just outside Manchester. So tomorrow night show, dear listener, and we will be texting all of you the address that we're going to, just in case we get murdered. Sensible and safe. More on Manchester in a bit. You know me, dear listener, I am a sucker for a good documentary. Oh, I love a good documentary, a good story, well told, works for me. And every now and then, Netflix will update their their listings and what they've got on offer. And a new one popped up a couple of weeks ago, and I saw it. I thought, oh, this looks interesting. Tower. And I started watching it, and I'll be honest, the first 2 or 3 minutes, I didn't like it. I didn't like the kind of animation style. But I stuck with it, and I am so glad I stuck with it, because it's an incredible story. The basis of all good documentaries, it's an incredible story, and it's incredibly well told. Really simple. And actually, once I got used to the animation technique they were using, it was beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. And I was in tears in places. I had the hairs on the back of my neck going up in places. It was absolutely incredible. It's on Netflix, and I know lots of you have watched it because I've been banging on about it. It's also, it's either coming out or it's out now on DVD and Blu-ray, and I believe there are a raft of extras, which we'll find out what the extras are in a bit. But I'm really thrilled. We've got the director of Tower all the way from New York City, where we're going to be in a few weeks. It's Keith Maitland. Evening, Keith.
Evening. Nice to talk with you.
Nice to talk to you, man. Tell me about Tower. How did you find that story?
Sure. Well, let me just give you one small correction. I'm not in New York City. I'm in Austin, Texas.
Oh, I do apologise. Well, that's even more exciting.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I live about 2 miles from the University of Texas, which, of course, is the setting and the location of what many consider to be America's first mass school shooting. The event took place in August of 1966. Which is 9 years before I was born, but it was an event that kind of hung a long shadow here in Texas.
When you were growing up, Keith, did people kind of talk about that day in 1966?
That's the thing. I think a lot of people knew about it kind of generally, but nobody talked about it in specifics. As a matter of fact, every seventh grader in Texas, which is about age 12, is required to take a full year of Texas history.
Wow!
So it's stories about Sam Houston and Stephen F. Austin, the pioneers of the old Wild West. You watch a lot of John Wayne movies. Learn about cowboys and Indians.
Yeah.
And this story, this incredibly tragic bellwether, was never, included in the curriculum for Texas history. But I learned about it in my Texas history class because my teacher was on campus that day.
Wow.
Yeah. So my first introduction was a first-person perspective on that day, and the way she described her experience to me as a 12-year-old is very similar to the way the film introduces you to that experience. She was a young student. She heard sounds that she didn't recognize. She looked out the window and saw people running, hiding behind trees. She stepped out onto a balcony in the dorm that she was at to try and figure out what was happening. And at that point, she realized there was a man on top of the tower with a gun and that he was the one causing this. And then she realized if she could see him, he could see her. She ran back inside.
It is, and for those that, and I know lots of my listeners have seen the film, Keith, and we'll talk about the DVD and the Blu-ray as well and all the extra bits that are on there. But for those that haven't, because I was unaware of the story. I'd never heard of this story. It's a tall clock tower. It was at the university, wasn't it?
That's right. The University of Texas, which is the flagship university for the state of Texas, here in Austin, which is the capital of Texas. But at that time in 1966, it was still a pretty small town, and this tower at the center of it was really the tallest building in town and kind of the center of the community.
And a guy went up to the top of the tower with, at least a gun and was shooting people, and people would be walking in the square and suddenly they'd be on the floor. I mean, we get to meet through the film some incredible people. The young lady who was pregnant. That was when I was watching, and I wasn't sure about the first couple of minutes of the film, but just once we got to her story, it's like, oh, right, I mean, this is going to be incredible. A young lady, young pregnant woman walking out of school with her boyfriend, and then suddenly he falls down and she thinks that something's gone wrong. So she looks and then she gets shot and she collapses beside him. And no one knew what was going on for quite a long time, did they?
That's right. Because it was such a big geographic area, and the sniper in the tower, kind of moved around the four facets of the building, kind of picking people off, on different sides of the campus. He covered about a 5-block city, 5 city block area. So it took people a while to put it together, and of course the world was different then. This was an event that was really unprecedented. So there wasn't that, I think now if you're out in a public space and you hear a loud sound, it's almost ingrained to think, I better protect myself. I better, that could be a gun, that could be a bomb, that could be a truck. But on this day in 1966, people were just, caught completely unaware.
I tell you what was interesting, where I thought there were similarities between then and now, was the speed with which the news crews, and it was primarily radio, got to the scene, and part of me wants to say bravery, part of me wants to say stupidity, but it was, incredible that the radio broadcaster, the guy that's in his truck, and he's talking to someone, and he says to the guy he's talking to, "You better duck down, we're targets here." I thought that was because now we're used to news crews just arriving on the scene as soon as anything happens. There's crews there, and I thought that was incredible. That radio guy.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for his broadcast, I don't think I would have made the film. He led. To explain more fully, it was a slow news day. It was a Monday, not quite yet noon, and a hot summer day. And the news reporters were sitting around the newsroom, trying to figure out what to cover for the evening news that night. and they heard on the police scanner that there were shots fired on campus. And like most people, they assumed that it was probably over with. So a reporter hops into a station wagon and drives to campus. The wagon is equipped with a portable transmitter, and he begins to give a play-by-play of what he's seeing, not realizing it's going to go on for more than an hour and a half. And so that his play-by-play, his voiceover, becomes the narration of the event. And he gets pretty close to the action. Like you said, at one point he's interviewing a law student out the window of this car, and he tells the law student, you better duck down, because they're very much within the potential line of fire at that point. It was that radio report that really served as a tremendous research tool and a lot of the basis for the telling that we did.
I've got goosebumps just remembering it again, because it is such an incredible document of that event where you hear this guy talking and you can hear the shots just ringing off in the background. Let's go back a bit, Keith. What have you done before this, and what was the decision to tell this story?
Well, I've always been a filmmaker, and I had made, before Tower, I'd only made one previous documentary of my own, but I'd worked for other filmmakers for about 10 years. And so I was trained and kind of began my career in New York City, and which is why I still have a New York cell phone.
I see, right, you're tricking us, clever.
I moved back to Austin, Texas about 10 years ago to make my first documentary, which is about blind teenagers. And it's a very different kind of film.
Yeah.
And it was while I was making that film that an article came out. It was the 40th anniversary of the Tower shooting in 2006. And this article in a magazine called Texas Monthly was an oral history of that day. And in that oral history, a couple dozen people who were on campus that day recounted their stories, and some of the stories that are in the film were in that article, including Claire, the pregnant woman who you already mentioned. And it was while I was reading that article that I started to see the film coming into shape, and I realized I wanted to explore this story. I wanted to go back to the way I felt when I was a seventh grader hearing about it for the first time. I wanted to go back to the way I felt when I went to the University of Texas. And I was always so frustrated that this history didn't have a place of prominence. There wasn't a memorial on campus. There wasn't an annual ceremony recognizing that day. It wasn't something that was taught to incoming freshmen as a part of orientation, just to say, this tragedy took place here on the grounds of this place where you're going to spend the next 4 years ideally becoming, maturing and growing and learning. And that bothered me, because this is the kind of thing that helps you mature and grow and learn, is to live through and survive, and if you're lucky enough not to have to witness something like this, to get a chance to learn about it through the people who did. And so it was 11 years ago in 2006 when I decided to make the film, but because I was already making a film at the time, I had to put it off for a while. And I chose instead to try and release it for the 50th anniversary of the shooting, which was, just last year.
And were people happy to share their stories with you? The reason I asked that is because there's that wonderful moment when one of the people who got shot was a young lad delivering papers on his bike, and he had his younger cousin, I think it was, on the bike with him. And there's a wonderful moment in the film where both of them survived, and you see the two of them now, and the younger cousin says, we've never spoken about this. We've never once talked about this. And I wondered if there was a reluctance for people of that generation, of that area of America, to kind of be open and share that experience with others.
Well, I think there very much was a reluctance for the society here in Texas at that time to really engage with this story the way people might today. And so for dozens of years, for decades, it wasn't a story that was told very in depth ways and in very personal ways. But by the time I got around to it, 5 or 6 years ago where I started reaching out to these folks, what I found was many of these people who had kept this inside all these years were, in fact, eager to share their story and eager to explore their own feelings because they had kept it inside and because they didn't know who to share it with. Claire, who's very much at the center of our film, the pregnant woman, when I called her, she was the very first person I talked to because I knew the film would begin and end with her story. It's such an intense and personal story. And I was really nervous reaching out to her. When you call someone out of the blue and say, "Hey, I want to talk about the worst thing that ever happened to you."
that's a lovely line, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I had an idea about turning it into an animation, which would also, potentially be off-putting to someone like that. So I was really nervous, and I tried to be really sensitive. But what I discovered was really on the first call with Claire, she said, "I'm so glad you want to talk about this because my whole life I've been trying to understand this better, and nobody wants to talk about it with me, not my friends, not my family." And it's funny, I think about that kind of famous British poster that's been kicking around the last couple of years, "Keep calm and carry on."
Oh, yes.
I think that was very much that stoic attitude.
Yeah.
That, the people who were in charge of the university, the people in charge of the government here in Austin at that time were mostly World War II survivors. And that generation, very much had that mindset. I don't think that's really particularly good advice.
No.
And so we got the chance to kind of dip into this history and to ask people to share their stories. And you see in the film, these people are just as emotional today about this issue because in some ways they're really revisiting this tragedy in a very visceral way.
The animation is stunning, and it took me 2 or 3 minutes, Keith, to get it. The first couple of minutes, I'm thinking, I don't like this, and then it clicked, and then I got it, and I thought it was beautifully done. I thought it was stunning. I thought it was great the way that you could give the impression that we were hearing the stories from, the kids that this happened to, the 20, 25, 30-year-olds this was happening to. Why did you decide to do the animation?
Well, a number of reasons. I mean, one of the main ones, as you just said, is that I wanted this to be an immersive experience. I wanted people to feel like they were there and that they were there not just looking back at a thing that happened 50 years ago, but that this thing was happening all around them. And that style of animation allows you to kind of transcend time and to present kind of an altered reality, recognizing that the entire film is made up of memory. It's all first-person memories. There's no, journalist or historian or researcher looking back and telling us what facts they'd uncovered. It's all first-person perspectives and interviews. But I also really wanted to make sure that we could place people authentically within the space that the shooting happened. And I was aware that the university would not allow us to film recreations on campus. So rather than trying to film live-action recreations in some other location that wasn't authentic, the animation allowed us to not only transcend time, but to transcend geography.
Wow, clever.
So it looks like we're on campus, but in actuality, that's a trick of the animation.
And I don't want to give away too much about what else we get from the animation and some of the people that we meet now, but the some of the reveals along the way just had me, my stomach was in my throat with some of them. Some really amazing stories throughout this film of individual accounts of bravery. People terrified and people, rightfully hiding and protecting themselves, which is, of course, is natural. But some amazing stories of people just going above and beyond. There's the young lady who, because Claire, the pregnant lady, is kind of in the middle of the square and everyone can see her, but everyone knows if they go out to help her, then they're going to be shot. And there's a wonderful young lady that goes and lies down next to Claire in the boiling heat and just talks to her. And then there's that wonderful bit when those two kids, the chess-playing kids, they're kind of looking on and they go, we can't take this anymore. And they rush out and they pick her up. And it's breathtaking. And there's the wonderful animation. There's a wonderful bit of news footage of them as well, with the kids' glasses falling off. And it is a real... It was so well told, Keith, that you played those moments of humanity so subtly and so brilliantly. You should be very proud of those bits in particular, I think.
Well, I really appreciate that. You know, it was the redheaded co-ed, the young woman who runs out and lays down next to Claire. Her name was Rita. She's the reason I made the film. It was when I was reading, and that moment is described in the article. If anybody's interested, the article's available online. It's called, the name of it is 96 Minutes. It's a Texas Monthly article by Pamela Koloff.
I'm going to find it and I'm going to tweet it.
Yeah, it's great. And it was while I was reading that article, like I said, that I was imagining so much of what ended up in the film, but it was that moment when Claire is out there, as you said, completely vulnerable, conscious, in pain, exposed to the heat, exposed to the sniper, and with thousands of eyes on her, and nobody knows what to do. Nobody can take action, and then suddenly this redheaded student comes running out and lays down next to her. And when I got to that and I read that, I thought, that's the most humanely brave thing I've ever heard of. And I've never seen it in, like I said, in Texas history class, we watched a lot of John Wayne movies, a lot of cowboys and Indians. There's a lot of brave acts of macho heroism that have happened in this place I live called Texas, and beyond. And yet I'd never seen a story that focused on the brave action of an 18-year-old girl who just risks her life to offer compassion. And that compassion is what saved Claire's life, I'm sure of it. And then, absolutely, the two boys who rescue her, Artley and James, just two goofy kids that found
they are.
themselves.
And there's that brilliant bit where he says, and as I was coming down the stairs carrying her, my glasses started falling off. And there's the news footage, and you can see his glasses falling off. You're thinking, oh, poor kid. They were kids. They were kids.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing, is like this story, yes, this happened in Austin, Texas in 1966. But this exact same story has happened time and time again. Last summer in France, in Nice, when there was that truck attack, I guarantee you when, that terrible action took place and dozens of people ran for their lives and they hid, and like you said, rightly so, protected themselves. But I guarantee there were also kids and cops and reporters and a pregnant woman that, every facet of humanity is tested in these big public tragedies. And that's why I wanted to tell this story, even though it happened 50 years ago, it plays out again and again.
Yeah.
Here in the States, it happens with these mass shooting incidents. In the Middle East, it happens with suicide bombers. Throughout the world, it's been happening more and more, for different reasons. But our film isn't about the ideology of the killer or the motivations of the killer. It's about surviving, and it's about carrying this trauma with you for the rest of your life.
And it's really interesting you say that. You're right, because you don't really explore the person that did it. He's not the star of the film. It's everybody else is the star of the film. The cops that go up the tower, the people that go and help Claire, though that's what the film is about, and it makes it a much more human story, I think, as a result. It's out on DVD now, isn't it?
It is. It's out on DVD and Blu-ray.
What else is on there? What's on there that you're not going to get if you watch it on Netflix?
There's a bunch of great stuff on there. There's, so Tower focuses on 8 main characters, which is, and it jumps from character to character. On the Blu-ray and DVD, there are 10 miniature documentaries about each of those characters.
Oh, wow.
And then the 8 characters, and then the son of Alan Crum, who is a bookstore manager who ends up assisting the police and gets deputized at the last minute.
Is he the fella that leans round the corner and flips the bird to the gunman?
That's right.
I love that
That's
guy
right.
because he's getting shot at, so he goes from behind the pillar and just sticks his finger up at him. I love that guy. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, so he passed away before we had a chance to ever interview him, but we spent some time with his son, who's an adult, today, and was alive when this happened 50 years ago, and he talks about the impact of the shooting on his father.
Wow.
We also talked to the daughter of Houston McCoy, who's one of the police officers, and she went on to become a police officer here in Austin herself.
Wow.
And so there's a great little piece with her. There's also a bunch of great video looks behind the animation that shows the way the animation was built, and because it's rotoscopic animation, there are actually there are actors underneath the animation. Every character is portrayed by a young actor, and then through thousands of man hours, we painstakingly painted those beautiful animations. So we have these pieces that show that process, and then we also, when the film came out, here first in Austin at South by Southwest Film Festival and other film festivals around the States, we did a lot of Q&As with myself and my producing team and the animators, as well as the real-life subjects of the film, Claire and the radio reporter Neil Spells and Ray Martinez, the police officer. And so we filmed those Q&As and kind of cut together about a 15-minute Q&A segment that allows audiences to kind of answers a lot of the questions that people tend to want to ask after they've seen the film.
And is there, Keith, is there a website that people should go to if they want to read a little bit more about the film?
That's right. It's towerdocumentary.com.
Towerdocumentary.com. What's next? What are you working on now?
Well, I'm working on two projects. I've got another documentary that looks at a very different kind of story. It tells the story of a hippie millionaire in 1970 who inherited $25 million and decided to give it all away.
Wow.
It's got a lot of ups and downs. It actually caused his undoing, and it has its own kind of tragedy built into it, but is also very inspiring. And then I'm also writing a script right now to write and direct a feature film that looks critically at United States counterintelligence agencies after 9/11, and that's a different kind of story as well. But I'd say all three films, kind of juggle tragedy and inspiration.
Yeah.
And at the heart of the type of storytelling that I love the most is always a very human core.
Keith, they sound brilliant, man. Let us know when they're ready to go and come on and have a chat about them, please.
That sounds great.
Nice one, Keith. I really appreciate it. And again, Tower is absolutely stunning, man. Thanks very much for making it and coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Cheers. That's Keith Maitland. Tower, it's on DVD. It's on Blu-ray. If you don't fancy shelling out for it and you've got Netflix, it's on Netflix. And it is absolutely, honestly, it's just stunning. It's just stunning. I mean, such an amazing story. Right, onwards and upwards, dear listener. Your calls, if you will be so bold, please. 0344 499 1000. Don't forget to tick your Radar Diaries. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
So I've been getting the train into work and a cab home. I drove in tonight. First time I drove in, it's a couple of weeks I drove. But it means I've been privy to other people's radio listening habits in the back of these cabs. And last night I heard it. I heard the thing that everyone's been talking about. I heard it. It goes like this. She plays the fiddle in an Irish band. She fell in love with an Englishman. I heard it. It was, and it's as bad as everybody says it is. People saying that Galway Girl by Ed Sheeran is the worst thing to happen to Ireland since the potato famine. She played a fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. And then the pipes come in. If you were thinking, right, I know what, now, we want to do a piss take Irish song, right? But it's like proper piss take. We want to go full in, right? I want the fiddly diddly dee beat. I want the pipes. I want all of that stuff. And that would be Galway Girl. I still don't think Ed Sheeran sounds like what Ed Sheeran looks like. That's not his voice. And I heard him talking as well today on something else. I'd never heard him talk. Oh, that's it. He's going to be on Desert Island Discs. What's going to be your luxury item? A wig. His voice doesn't, and listen, hey guys, you know, when I sell 50 million records, then I'll be thumbing my nose at you guys and laughing. As it is, I only managed to get to number 32 in the iTunes dance chart for half an hour. But Galway Girl by Ed Sheeran. It really is. Wowzers. Dave's texted in, what was the name of the film you were talking about? Tower on Netflix. Tower. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. You can call in about Tower. You can call in about pretty much anything. Now, let me ask a question of the production team. Eye contact. Good. Was the reason we couldn't talk about voting yesterday because of the election that's going on today? So after 11 o'clock, can we talk about voting? Look at you. You don't look at you. You're going to hedge. You're going to hedge. No, don't type on the screen. Get on the microphone, Catherine. Get on the microphone. Get on the microphone. Come on.
Do you remember? Do you remember what used to happen at the BBC?
I remember James Whale got sacked once.
Right, OK, so listen.
For telling people who to vote for.
If we mention one party,
yeah,
we have to mention them all.
OK.
Right, in the run-up to the general election.
But when has that period started?
Yeah.
Right, OK, fine, you can do that.
Oh, God.
You can do that. But we can't even have this conversation until 11.
Good.
So, that's bad production. Speaking of bad production, someone put this Muppet through. Good evening, Philip.
Good evening, Ian. A very quick call this evening.
I bet it's not.
I actually sent you an email about they made a film for television called The Deadly Tower.
Uh-oh.
And it was the story of what you've just been talking about. And it starred Kurt Russell.
Oh!
And it caused a lot of controversy. I don't think it was ever shown in this country, but it was shown in America.
Why did it cause controversy?
Well, because of the subject matter. They felt it was bad taste. I think
come on. Americans love bad taste.
Well, exactly. But, you know, as I say, I just didn't know whether I switched in.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I tuned in late, and as I wasn't sure whether you'd brought that into your discussion about it with your...
No, I did not. I didn't want to raise any controversial subjects.
And also, there was a film that sort of very, very similar, a film made by, you know Peter Bogdanovich, the film director. He did The Last Picture Show, and What's Up, Doc, with Ryan O'Neill, and anyway... He did a film called Targets.
Have you got a cold, Philip? You're sounding very nasally.
I've got a bit of a cold, yes.
I've had tonsillitis.
Yeah, I heard about that. I tell you what, Ian, and this is not a joke.
Go on.
If I've got a sore throat, I tell you what I like, and honestly, as I say, this isn't a joke, a tin of sardines with vegetable oil.
You dirty old man.
No, it's very good for your throat.
No!
Honestly. Seriously. But anyway, getting back to Targets, it was a film made by Peter Bogdanovich. He had this film set up, and Roger Corman, he was owed some films from Boris Karloff.
Yes.
So Boris Karloff appears in the film, and it's the story of a man who is a sniper, and he's doing the people in the cinema.
He's doing the people in the cinema.
Yes.
Hang on a minute. How is he sniping someone in a cinema?
Well, I'll be truthful, I've not seen that either.
Well, because you can't snipe someone, because sniping you've got to do from half a mile away.
Well, as I say,
you can't snipe someone in a cinema.
Well, it's as I say, that is the story.
No, I don't buy this
Tim
story.
O'Kelly, Boris Karloff, and it's what you call, I don't know, cult is the wrong word, but I suppose it is a cult film.
No, listen, when people say something is a cult...
Yeah.
It means it sounds rubbish.
Yeah.
And not many people have watched it.
Well, I think it was let's say it was a minor film that became very, not popular, that's the wrong word, but I think you know what I mean.
You want to say cult?
Cult, yeah.
That means it was rubbish.
But as I say, no, but everybody who's reviewed it said it's a very good film.
Philip, you lied to me.
Oh, did I?
You said this would be a short call.
Oh, can I just say one final thing where I go?
Go on, then, Philip.
Well, sorry.
Go on.
Oh, you're talking about Irish songs.
Yes.
What about Peter Sellers and the Drop of the Hard Stuff?
Thank you very much indeed. I have no idea what that means. We were talking about the accents, doing the accents the other day. And I'm kind of half decided that I'm going to start doing the accents. I'm going to start doing the accents. And, because I don't think there's anything offensive about the accents. And when I do the accents, I'm not doing it I'm not doing it to be racist. I'm not doing it to be racist. Of course, Peter Sellers was always doing the accents, wouldn't he? Oh, goodness gracious me. Now, I'm doing an Indian accent and it's all right because I'm doing Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers, one of his greatest films was The Party, where he plays an inept Indian actor. Birdie num-nums. Incredible. Oh, doctor, I'm in trouble. Well, goodness gracious me. 'Cause every time a certain man is standing next to me, my heart begins to race, and my heart begins to race. It goes bum-ba-de-bum-ba-de-bum-ba-de-bum-ba-de-bum-ba-de-bum-bum. Now, what's wrong with that? Of course, Spike Milligan was in a sitcom with Eric Sykes. Remember this? Curry and Chips. Spike Milligan was the Indian fella. Eric Sykes, though, was a big fan of Rhodesia. So, yeah. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Just been sent a video by my wife, who knows what I like and how I like it. Hang on a second. Let's get it to the beginning. Here we go. This is going to be classic. Sit back, dear listener, and enjoy. Now what? Here we go. "7 years live at the Summertime Ball."
Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
It was a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger, pushing each other to the limits. We were learning quick.
Hang on a minute. It's got to be done, hasn't it? It's got to be. Andy?
Show and channel.
Sorry?
What?
Yes? No?
Oh.
No? Can you give me, can you give me 4 minutes and 29 seconds?
Yeah, anytime.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right, buddy, stay there. Hang on a second. I'll skip past this advert.
Trading is no longer...
Whoa. Hang on a minute. Buzz. Here we go. Hang on. Here we go. Right. Just be with me, Andy. You'll be all right.
Yeah, no problem.
No worries, man. Stay there. Here we go. Here we go. Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old. And I'm doing this with the tonsillitis. It was a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger. Pushing each other to the limits, we were learning quicker. By 11, smoking herb and drinking burning liquor. Never rich, so we were out to make that steady figure. Once I was 11 years old, my daddy told me, go get yourself a wife or you'll be lonely. Once I was 11 years old. Can I just say, any 11-year-olds listening, don't go and get a wife too young. I always had that dream like my daddy before me. So I started writing songs, I started writing stories. Something about that glory just always seemed to bore me. 'Cause only those I really love will ever really know me. Once I was 20 years old, my story got told before the morning sun when life was lonely. Once I was 20 years old. Hang on, Andy, mate, don't interrupt, buddy, please.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. It's okay. Just thank you. I only see my goals. I don't believe in failure. 'Cause I know the smallest voices, they can make it major. I got my boys with me, at least those in favour. And if we don't meet before I leave, I hope I see you later. Once I was 20 years old, my story got told. I was writing about everything I saw before me. Once I was 20 years old. Birdie num-nums. Soon we'll be 30 years old. Our songs have been sold. We've travelled around the world and we're still roaming. Soon we'll be 30 years old. Bloody hell. I'm still learning about life. My woman brought children for me, so I can sing them all my songs and tell them crappy stories. Most of my boys are with me, some are still out seeking glory, and some I had to leave behind. My brother, I'm still sorry. Soon I'll be 60 years old. My daddy got 61. Remember life and then your life becomes a better one. So I made a man so happy when I wrote a letter once. I hope my children come and visit once or twice a month. Soon I'll be 60 years old. Will I think the world is cold, or will I have a lot of children who can warm me? Soon I'll be 60 years old. Yeah. Yeah. Soon I'll be 60 years old. Will I think the world is cold, or will I have a lot of children who can come and warm me? Soon I'll be 60 years old. Yeah. Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old. Once I was 7 years old. Yes, Andy.
For a new song, that's quite good, isn't it?
Thank you very much indeed. It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song, and it's a beautiful performance of a beautiful song. And I think, if anything, the tonsillitis has made my voice even smoother.
It enhanced it.
It has, hasn't it? And here's the fun thing that you won't know because you can't see what's happening here. But whenever I sing a song on the radio, I do my best to maintain eye contact with my producer, Catherine Boyle, because she is literally dying inside. She is dying.
Is this from embarrassment? Or
yes. Oh, no, she thinks embarrassment and shame. Oh, God, she hates it.
Oh. Really?
Well, she hates it, Andy.
And you know, I have to tell you, mate, that during when you that rendition, you travelled many countries.
Yes, well, many countries, many time zones, many ages, many genres. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm a Renaissance man, Andy. I'm the Jimmy Nail for the 21st century.
I'll tell you a funny story about having the flu.
Yes,
I've got it as well, Ian, I'm afraid.
I haven't got the flu.
Well, you know, the cold thing. And
I haven't got cold. I've got tonsillitis.
Oh, you've got okay. Well, I've got something to do with a cold and a throat and all that at the same time.
It's not the same thing. But go on.
Isn't it?
Let's not fall out over it.
As bad as yours, is it?
No, well, no, it's not. Cold is not as bad as tonsillitis. What the hell are you talking about?
Proper diagnosed tonsillitis.
Yes, mate. I've got penicillin.
Have you got that stuff?
Yes, mate. I went to the doctor. They diagnosed it. I don't know what I did last week. I thought the cat that was in the bedroom with me was the cat that died when I was 11.
Oh, so delirious and everything?
Yes, mate. Have you not been listening to anything?
Fantastic.
It was, yeah.
And they give you to combat it. They give you the very first antibiotic ever invented, and it still works.
Yeah, I know because mine is like oxymena something penicillin, right? So, but it's penicillin. So
it's penicillin.
But penicillin is penicillin. Why are there different strands of it? And why do we not? Because no one says penicillin. Everyone says antibiotics.
And oxycillin and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, they're giving you bread mould, and it fixes stuff.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. The fella that discovered that, it's just a shame that no one remembers his name, because he should be a legend. But
it was a woman, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably Marie Curie. I think. Yeah. Probably lost to the mysteries of time. No, it was Biro. It was Abigail Biro. That was it. Yes.
No, it was James Watts. Wasn't it?
That's it. Yes. Anyway, Andy, you're going to tell me a story about your cold.
Well, no, it's not really. No, it's just when you're talking about that James Sheeran song.
Yes.
I live in Ireland.
Ed Sheeran.
Right? Where his name is. Yeah, him.
Yes.
Is he that ginger-haired bloke?
Yeah, I'm getting some rather abusive... Let's listen to this text we've just had in, Andy, from someone called Ribble Wibble, who is a tweet. Monumentally tedious crap singing. Hope others enjoyed it. I turned off. Big mistake. What the hell? What on earth? Well, first of all, you haven't turned off. You're still listening.
No, obviously, you're still listening.
Listen, if we could do this and we can see all the other tweets they've sent, right? Look at this.
Right.
Look at this. So yesterday they sent a tweet. I love Catherine and Ian, superb people, right? And tonight... I'm in bed with talk radio and two small leopards are kissing my nose. Well, a sexual deviant.
Or on drugs.
Well, I couldn't possibly comment. It's a bank holiday. Let's put a twat on. It's ridiculous rubbish. So this person is...
That's incisive criticism, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they swing from loving the show, which is the correct answer, to hating the show, which is the incorrect answer.
Exactly.
Anyway, good for them. Anyway, Andy, yes, continue elusive and play.
This Ed Sheeran, Ed Sheeran's that ginger man, isn't it?
Yes, he is, yes.
But see, I live in Ireland, right?
Oh.
I'm live from Ireland right now. And contrary to what Ed Sheeran appears to believe and what EastEnders famously portrayed a couple of years ago...
Oh, the donkey's walking down the street.
Yeah, we have electricity here.
She plays a fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman.
Yeah, we have electricity. Wow. Donkeys don't walk down the streets, you know, we have telephones, we have internet. It's not actually very difficult, very different rather than a lot of parts of the UK.
Wowzers, that really is...
It's not, I know it's an amazing concept, but Ireland is only 100 miles from England.
Well, 100 miles, but yet several hundred light years.
Oh, yeah. Stuck in the past, mate.
Isn't it, Joe? I've never been to Ireland. I'd like to go one day, but I'd need a really good reason. I couldn't be bothered to go just for the crack. Although I hear the crack over there is excellent.
You have an open invitation to come over to my house, right, and sit here in my house of a sunny evening and look out over the river and the mountains.
I'm going to cut you off now because you're sounding weird. Speaking of that, Catherine, get onto that microphone, please, and tell the listeners what delights we've got on tomorrow's show.
The guest? Did you just ask about?
Tell the listeners what delights we've got on tomorrow's show.
On tomorrow's show, we've got the producer of many classic records, including ones by the Kinks and that, called...
He produced Waterloo Sunset and My Generation by The Who.
Shall tell me.
Shall tell me.
Yeah, and he's
no, but that's
going to be live from America.
There's tomorrow's show is Hey, thanks, cool guy. Oh, look at that's nice from my friend Alex Lowe. That's his nice little. Listen to this. Look, but blimey, I'll read this. Pete and Dud, unseen on BBC 4. Peter circa 1975 reminds me of you.
Oh.
Hey. No, but we're a very special location tomorrow, and I realise we haven't really bigged this up at all.
We're going to Worsley, Greater Manchester.
Okie dokie.
Now, Worsley is next to the place where I spent a lot of my, well, not very much of my childhood, until I was 10. Walkden, I was from.
Okay,
Walkden.
that's not really interesting.
And my mum used to say we were from Worsley because Worsley's well posh.
Okay, that's not really interesting.
Well, that's what's going to happen. We're going to go there.
Yes. What's the name of the fella?
John.
Okay.
He's got cats.
Yep.
We're going in his house.
Yes.
We're going to use his Wi-Fi.
Someone use his wife. We're going to use his wife, and we're going to do it from his.
I'm hoping sitting room. It'd be weird if he puts us in his bedroom. But I'll pretend we're not bothered.
Now, is he going to... Who was the young lady? Was it Sophie?
Sophie Sarah, yes.
Sophie Sarah, we did it from her house in Edinburgh.
Yes.
And then we never... She stopped listening.
She pops up now and again.
She sent us some chocolate after, and then she disappeared.
I've seen her on the Periscope.
We didn't abuse her, did we? We didn't do...
No.
No, we did...
I used her bathroom several times, but it was clean when I entered and clean when I left.
I can't think of any... She was a regular contributor to the show. I mean, this John fella, I got no idea. He may not even listen to the show. I mean, that's a distinct possibility. I'm expecting to rock up and he go, "Oh, it's you, is it?" I would, yeah. No, I didn't. I don't listen.
No, he's well keen.
Too keen is my... We're going to text the address to all of the listeners... Yeah. So that if we're not back in our hotel rooms by 1:30, then they'll send the police round.
Well, my family's within, spitting distance. Obviously not in
They probably
posh
will be
Worsley.
spitting.
Well, exactly. I'll just tell, our Christine, our Jackie, our Ellen, our Stephen, our Rachel, our Gareth. They'll all come round my bandit if we need them.
Could you get me a glass of ice-cold water, please?
Is this conversation over?
Yes. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. We're taking a leisurely stroll through effed up Britain, and boy oh boy, isn't it effed up at the moment. Everybody hates everybody else, and I'm ashamed to be British. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Guys, don't forget, tick your radar diaries. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
I never thought you'd sound like that. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Now listen, the first caller of the next hour is going to be Paul from Stoke Poges. You can stop that happening by ringing now.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
He has made a covenant with the night, and with the darkness he is in agreement.
Uncut, after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Prince Philip this, Prince Philip that, bloody hell, Prince Philip, bloody hell, Prince... Flipping heck. I mean, because I was asleep this morning, so I missed. Apparently, it was trending on Twitter that either he or the Queen were dead, right? And I think the Sun published on their website that he died for a short time. They had that up as a thing on the Sun website, and it was all this because all of the royal staff have been summoned to Buckingham Palace, so they all came from Balmoral, and all went to everyone's blah 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 blah. And the announcement, Prince Philip's going to resign. What now? August. Oh, is that it? Yeah. It's just we've come from Balmoral for this. We thought one of you was dead. Oh, no, we're not dead. Yeah. Are you going to cover our trains and hotels? No. Right. So we got to pay for this. Yeah. But he's retiring. You flashback. Honestly, and the other radio station that I was reading today, actually, LBC's closing down very soon, which is sad news. Just ask Beverly Turner. It is that it was like a 15-hour Prince Philip sex fest. Honestly, it was all Prince Philip's a great guy, and his gaffes about the slitty eyes and all of these are really, actually, he's a great guy, and he is a true testament to what the world was like before political correctness got its politically correct clause in, and people could say what they thought. And actually, he's a really hard-working guy, and actually, whatever. It's Prince Philip. It's the Duke of Edinburgh. Who really cares? I don't care. And I quite like the royal family, okay? I shouldn't, but I've got a bit of a soft spot for the royal family. I have, okay? I think that they're all right. But even I thought, once I heard the Prince Philip news, it's like, oh, all right. And everyone was leading with it. It's the lead Prince Philip. Tomorrow, the front pages of tomorrow's newspapers will be Prince Philip. Guarantee it. Prince Philip at 95, stepping down. Marvellous work. What? Can someone, 0344 499 1000, can someone please explain to me why this is such a big story? Because I don't get it. And here's the thing, having worked at the BBC for a bit, with people that thought they knew news, right? People that thought they knew news. They would quite often lead with a story, and I'd be scratching my head going, well, I don't understand why that's a story. And certainly not why that's story number 1 and not story number 3. And it's just, there is someone somewhere, high up, right, at the head of the BBC and the head of Sky, and they decide what the important stories are. And that gets filtered through. So all the chains of command at the BBC. So someone at the head of the BBC, and that gets filtered through to the big news, and then that gets filtered through to the radio, and that gets filtered through to the local radio. And those are the important stories. And the number of times... let's look at the front pages of the newspapers, shall we? And let's see if these are important stories. I don't know what they are, so let's have a look. Daily Express... all of the papers. Here we go, perfect example. All of the front papers, the Daily Express, the Mail, the Mirror, the Sun, the Mail haven't got it, and the Star have all taken a big part of the front page. Brad Pitt used to drink a lot. What? Yeah, Brad Pitt used to be a boozer, like Angelina says, boozer. What? That is taken up a third, sometimes a half of the front page. You know that's not an important story, don't you? You know that's not an important story. Okay, the Express don't meddle in our election. It's Theresa May talking. It's all. There we go. It's all Europe. Here we go. The front page of the Express, the front page of the Sun, the front page of the Mail, are all about the general election and about Europe and Brexit. Well, I suppose you could argue it's kind of important, but Brexit isn't going to happen for 2 years, guys. The front page of the Star, cops talk stress footy ace back from brink. Okay, so there's a football player who was mentally ill. It's really sad. Is it important? I don't. Oh, man alive. What the hell is going on? Yes, Paul.
Hi, right. It's not the original reason I've called in tonight, but you just made me think. I would only call in once tonight. But what you just made me think is 24-hour BBC News or Sky News, they will report on things and send up a helicopter if someone drops a flipping bit of chewing gum on a high street of Leicester, on the pavement.
When did that happen, Paul?
No, I'm saying it hasn't happened, but it would happen because they report on rubbish most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's just what. Anyway.
Good point. Well made, Rory Bremner.
You like playing music? No, I didn't get it from Rory Bremner. I don't like Rory Bremner.
No, I know. It's quite clever.
Okay.
Someone had a go at me on Twitter because of you.
Oh, what have I done now?
No, they said I was bullying and taking the pee out of vulnerable callers. And then they cited you as an example of a vulnerable caller.
No, I wouldn't call myself vulnerable. I find that offensive.
Exactly! He was saying, your show's really mean, and all you do is bully and take the pee out of vulnerable callers, like that fella talking about the strawberry milkshake.
Well, I thought that was a good idea. I bet you tried it, didn't you?
No, I didn't. But I don't like strawberry. I like their vanilla milkshakes.
Okay, try the vanilla McDonald's milkshake. I bet it flipping might work. It's just an idea.
But the point was, he was saying that I was bullying you, and point two, that you are vulnerable.
Well, you got that on a tweet, did you?
Yes, I did, mate.
This is why I don't use Twitter, because I'm not vulnerable.
No, of course not.
I might be a bit touched, but I'm not vulnerable.
I mean, you're thick.
No, I'm not thick.
Oh. Stupid?
No, I'm as thick as a vanilla McDonald's milkshake.
There we go. They're very, very thick.
Okay, the reason I found out, you like playing songs on your radio show, yeah? And you were talking about Ed Sheeran and Irish songs. Now, I bet you have the power to look this up and play it. A song by a band called Show of Hands, the song called The Galway Farmer.
Why would I play that?
Because it has to do with Irish people, and it's a good Irish song that is written by a band called Show of Hands.
Okay.
It has to do with Irish people saving all their money, farmers coming across from Ireland, going to Cheltenham races. You look it up and play it, and you'll understand why.
I am not going to do that.
Okay, finally, can I set a subject up tonight for people to try and call in for?
Please do, Paul.
Okay, famous footballers' names crossed with food.
All right, hang on a minute. Kevin Goulash.
Yeah, okay, I'll give...
Paul? Paul, where have you gone? He's gone. Well, who's Kevin Goulash? Why would you accept Kevin Goulash? What's the name of the let me think of one. David Beckham and Eggs, yeah, that's good. Well, Cheryl Baker had a kids' cookery show called Baker and Eggs. Why did they do a pun? Why did they make her name try and sound like bacon when it's already a cookery word? It's Baker. Why did they not just focus on that? Let me think. I can't think of any footballers. I'm struggling to think of a football man. Paul, you're calling back in.
Hello.
Peter Strudel.
Benteke fried chicken, Harry Sugarcane, Malcolm McDonald's, Francis Lee House, name of everyone's local Chinese restaurant.
Okay, literally no idea who any of those people were, but that sounds like a lot of fun. And if you want to play that game at home, guys, then keep playing it at home. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
0344 499 1000. So as well as doing tomorrow night's show from the house of a bloke called John, on Saturday, Catherine and I will be staying in Manchester and doing the Rabbit Hole, recording the Rabbit Hole podcast. We will be recording 3 or 4 episodes of it over the space of an evening. There are 5 tickets left that we simply cannot shift. 5 bloody tickets left, for God's sakes. Take those 5 tickets. We're also going back to Manchester on July the 29th, I think it is, for the Manchester Fringe, and we'll be doing a Rabbit Hole in the afternoon. So instead of the evening, it'll be the afternoon, and tickets are only a tenner. I'll be honest, we've sold 3. We've sold 3 tickets for that one. Come on, guys, don't let us down. If you want tickets for either this Saturday in Manchester or Saturday, July the 29th in Manchester, then the place to go is ticketsource.co.uk/Iain, IAIN -LEE. ticketsource.co.uk/Iain Lee. Right, 0344 499 1000 Here's the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You're more than welcome to. Kath, come in and join me for a bit. Can I get another cold water, please? And then come in and join me if that would be at all possible. I'm feeling much better after the tonsillitis. And thank you, Catherine. Today's the best I've felt for quite some time. I drove for the first time since last Tuesday. But I'll be honest, I'm still feeling very, very tired. And about 11 o'clock, 11:30, what I've noticed this week is my throat starts tightening. And it makes me feel a bit nauseous just because my throat is getting a little bit tight. So, who'd have thought that tonsillitis would be so crap? And we don't need our tonsils. Our tonsils are left over from millions of years ago. They don't serve any purpose. But you get an infection in them, guys. And, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be screwed. Honestly, I have been absolutely wiped out by this. And I know loads of you have emailed me and tweeted me, and I've got loads of work I need to catch up with. Sorry, it ain't happening. I'm not replying to anyone. I had to cancel loads of work this week. It's not happening, I'm afraid. Are you feeling all right, Kath? If you're not feeling up to it, don't come in. Don't come in. Kath's not feeling very well either. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'll be more than welcome to. I forgot you were feeling poorly.
All right.
Don't come in if you don't want to. I mean, you don't have to talk to these idiots.
It's all right.
You sure?
My pleasure.
Thank you, mate. Nice glass of water. That's better. That's better. I had my first meal in well over a week today. I went and had some fish. I went to a local restaurant.
What fish was it?
Sea bass.
Oh, nice.
It was in a sauce. It was sea bass, and I remembered it being quite plain, but they put a sauce on it, which I didn't really. Anyway, had that and some cooked potatoes. What do they call them?
Sauté.
Yay. So they're bringing back Tomorrow's World, but they're not bringing it back properly.
Oh.
Excuse me, I'm only yawning because my throat is really tight and it's making me yawn. It's the weirdest thing. So they're going to bring back a thread of programmes called Tomorrow's World, but it won't actually be Tomorrow's World.
Oh.
And here's the thing, BBC, you could literally make pounds off me if you brought out like a 4 DVD box set or a 6 DVD box set of the best of Tomorrow's World. I would lap that up. I would totally go out and pay for that.
We want Philbin. We want Judith Ham.
My mum never liked Han. Do you know why?
Why?
Never wore a bra. Honestly, she never wore a bra. And my mum would say, she'd just tut and go, I wish that woman would put a bra on. And every week, it was Judith Ham was on between 1974 and 1994. They've caught up with them all in the Mirror. She was the longest-running Tomorrow's World presenter. She's written several science books. She's also worked for the Royal Society. She's now 74.
Gosh.
She's president of Da Herb Society. Was that your...
It's my stomach.
She's president of the Herb Society.
Da Herb?
Well, I said da. It says the.
No.
The Herb Society.
It's probably the Herb Society.
Why do the Americans drop the H of herb?
I don't know. My mum went through a phase of saying hotel rather than hotel. I think she thought it was posh.
Oh, God.
I know.
My mum says theatre. Theatre.
Does she?
Yeah, theatre.
I've heard people saying theatre.
Yes, it's theatre.
That's funny. Aren't they funny mums?
Kieran Prenderville? I used to like Kieran Prenderville.
Which one's he? The one with the curly black hair?
No, that was Howard Stableford.
Oh, right.
Kieran Prenderville demonstrated the indestructibility of the compact disc by smearing strawberry jam on a Bee Gees CD.
I remember the jam episode, yeah.
Flippin' heck! This is the world weird. He was on it from 1979 to 1983, okay? I remember him well. After After leaving the show, Kieran, now 69, became a highly successful TV writer, creating the hit series Ballykiss Angel.
Oh, did he?
Good for him! Isn't that good for him? Michael Rodd! Michael Rodd, who used to host Screen Test as well. Michael Rodd, look at him! 1972 to 1982. Michael was a well-known kids' TV host fronting film-based quiz show Screen Test for 8 years, as well as Tomorrow's World. Now, on Screen Test, it was a quiz about movies for kids, but they'd also have a feature where they'd have a competition each week where people would send in their home movies. Now, this was before video cameras and stuff, so it was all like cine-film stuff, right? And there was a film on there I still have nightmares about.
Oh, really? What?
It was, I don't remember. All I remember it was there was like a picture of a grave and then a hand coming out of the grave. But because it was all like in, I guess, 16mm, it was that kind of flicky. It scared the bejesus. And I still sometimes have nightmares about that.
Gosh.
It scared the crap out of me. One of his most memorable moments came in 1981 when he ate a worm omelette. Now 73, he has fond memories of the show. I showcased everything from the first digital watch to teletext, the personal stereo, the CD player, and of course the first mobile phone. See, I would watch all of that.
Yeah, because you want to see whether it came true.
Yeah, exactly. You wanted the ones they got right, brilliant. The ones they got wrong,
hilarious.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Pete McCann, 1983 to 1991. I remember because he was on, he demonstrated CB radios and his handle was Diamond Pete. And my dad said, well, he's a bloody idiot, not supposed to use your real name in your handle. So that was that. Pete says many of his favourite memories come from the show's spin-off, Tomorrow's World at Large. Now 72, since retiring from the BBC, he's worked as a consultant, so he hasn't done any work. Howard Stableford hosted Beat the Teacher before joining Tomorrow's World as one of its longest-serving presenters. He says of the inventions he introduced, I was more disappointed by the ones that disappeared when you thought that should catch on. Some guy came up with a window blind that was transparent and had concentric circles on it that would pick up a great picture from a satellite. Now he's a BBC producer. So he's not working either. Here we go. Maggie Philbin. Maggie, 61. I've interviewed Maggie. She exudes sex. She is one of the sexiest women you could ever have the good fortune to be stuck in a room with. She knows how to play men.
Lucky checkers.
Well, she knows exactly how to play men, and good for her. Maggie, now 61, used to watch the show as a child before presenting it. She and co-stars stayed with the show despite big money commercial offers because we were so dedicated. I was the first to demonstrate virtual reality, a digital camera, and satellite navigation. She is a tech writer and boss of Teen Tech. She was married to entertainer Keith Chegwin. They have a daughter, Rose, 29. Wowzers. Hi, Chihuahua. This is the thing, the BBC. There's a load of crap out there that's available. For God's sakes, a 6-box set DVD of Tomorrow's World and if you wait, you can even have the 5th disc and the 6th disc, you can get all the presenters around together and show them clips and they can laugh at it. I'd even watch that. Yeah. That would be delightful, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it? That's what we want. What's the crap we were watching on telly tonight?
We watched MasterChef.
Rubbish.
Okay. I mean, it's a lot of fuss over.
It's like week 6 of the first half of the semi-finals. Yeah. In my days, you had 2 semi-finals, then you had a final. That was it.
What's all this about making multiple puddings on the same plate as well? Just stop it. Just make one
wrong?
Good one.
What have you made? I've made ham and egg. Beautiful. All right, the egg is perfectly runny. The ham's great. These chips, perfect. Yeah, a little bit crispy. Yeah, you're through to the next round. That's just what you want.
I know.
Ham, egg and chips,
Why
please.
are they overcomplicating matters?
All these poncy foods.
So we watched that. Then we watched at the start of the BBC's in-depth show looking at stress.
Here's the thing, right, that I've discovered. And because I haven't watched TV for a while. So coming back and watching it. And I was aware this was happening. This was flagged up to me this was happening, and I ignored it. We have dumbed down to, like, stupid level. Because the programme was and I like the lady, it was Kate Garraway, wasn't it?
No,
it was the other one.
Fiona Phillips.
That's it, Fiona Phillips. And I like Fiona Phillips. I think I've met her, and she's really nice. But it was about stress. And the first 5 minutes was like the sort of teaser. What makes us stressful? Do you get stressed at work? Do you find travelling to work stressful? Babies, are they stressful? And then that finished. And then it went, there is one thing in this country that is the biggest killer. I'm going, yeah, stress. It's the biggest killer of all. It beats car accidents. It beats. Go, yes, I know stress. Programme's about stress, and you've just spent 5 minutes teasing up it's about stress, and it did nothing. If it was her sat down with a scientist, and a scientist going, right, well, what happens when you hear a baby screaming? What it does is it produces this chemical reaction in your body, and the chemical that it produces is this thing, and what it does is that aggravates you. And the reason it does that, it goes way back to primeval people, because that means we will go and protect and look after the baby and nurture them. So that's what that kind of... So if it was that, brilliant, I'd watch it, like scientific explanation. But it was just idiots.
It was just, isn't this annoying?
What gets you stressed? Oh, traffic. Balls. That was it. There's no point to it.
The pointlessness of that programme was proved when you changed channels halfway through and I didn't notice. We were watching a programme about people having car crashes.
Now, that was a good programme.
Yeah, but I didn't realise it wasn't the same programme, because I thought, well, yes, that's pretty stressful, but we've had 15 minutes of this now.
This is why I like a good documentary like Tower. You saw Tower,
it was amazing.
This is why I like a good, intelligent film, and it's generally films, very few series, where they don't treat you like idiots. They treat you like intelligent adults that want to learn. There's a little bit of assumed knowledge. They fill in some stuff that you might not know, and then boom, you're into the story.
But also, they don't tell you everything straight away and then expect you to forget it 5 minutes later so they can surprise you with it again. Yeah. That documentary, Tower, I didn't breathe properly through that the whole way through, because you kind of you don't enjoy it, you endure it with the storytelling.
Oh, it's horrific.
You don't know who's going to survive. You don't know. You just do not know which way it's going to go at all, because especially because we're not familiar with that particular case.
The kids that were playing chess and they heard about it in the news thought, this sounds like a laugh. Let's go down and look. And then they got there and went, shit, this is this is horrific, and we are now stuck here.
But they also heard from people who didn't do anything monumental.
Yeah.
And it wasn't kind of, all right, let's just wait for the Coldplay music to kick in and then to do something heroic.
That's the woman that said that she was too scared to, I think, and she carried that shame forever.
And you and I both know that most people would be that woman rather than the one who went and laid down next to that poor girl. And, all the way through you're wondering whether the baby survives. You just don't know, and it was just so wonderfully
intelligent, thoughtful, thought-provoking, and we don't find out why the fella did it. We don't find anything out about the fella, because it's not about him. And I thought that was really a really brave thing to do in a documentary, to leave a lot of questions unanswered about the person that did the crime. But it works. And then you get this insipid, banal rubbish tonight. What makes you stressful?
What was the thing they had on yesterday? Because they did another one yesterday. Oh, the McCann thing. That was an hour. That was an hour of nothing, wasn't it?
That was a documentary. No, it wasn't. It was a bloke harassing people that had nothing to do with it. It was all hot air. It was 60 minutes of hot air, puff and bluster.
At best, it was a recap of everything we've discovered in the last 10 years.
Oh, God. TV. Rubbish. 0344 499 1000. Keith and Ian, stay there. Come to you after this.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Right, let's crack on with some of these calls. Good evening, Ian.
Hi, how you doing? Okay?
I'm all right, thank you, boss. What you got?
Well, I was going to talk about tomorrow's road. I'll come to that in a minute, but you were talking about MasterChef a second ago.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be really, really refreshing on MasterChef if you suddenly heard, bing,
the microwave going off?
Exactly.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. I found out now, because I saw my wife doing this the other day, and I thought, that's a bit lazy, but actually it's brilliant. You can do frozen veg in the microwave.
Oh, I ain't know.
I didn't know that. You put your frozen veg in a bowl, a couple of tablespoons of water in the microwave, 3 minutes, bishy bashy bosh, it's done.
That's science, mate.
It's beautiful.
Scrambled egg.
Oh, scrambled. I've always done scrambled egg in the microwave. No, you've got to know how to do it. Thing is, you've got to do it in sections. 45 seconds, out, whisk, back in. 45 seconds, out, whisk.
As long as you're going back in there, because if not, it just comes out as like bowl-shaped.
No. You've got to 45 seconds to a minute at a time and keep mixing it. Keep mixing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But
if you do scrambled egg in a saucepan, that pan is ruined.
No.
That pan is ruined.
I do it in a frying pan. I like it when it catches a little bit and it goes a bit brown.
No. Microwave is way forward.
You're right, Ian. The microwave is the microwave
too wet for me. Too wet.
But you're not supposed to put your head next to a microwave.
No, you're not. No.
That says bad to me.
There was a case years ago. Somebody was working in a restaurant or someone who was using a microwave on a regular basis, and they got some kind of cancer because they were like near the microwave too often.
Well, they shouldn't put a window in it then, should they?
Well,
that's asking for it.
But no, but you want to see what's going on in there, don't you?
Well, then you're going to put your face near it, and all hell is going to break loose.
What? It's funny, isn't it? You've got a cancer machine.
I don't think they're as bad as they were when they first came out.
Well, we had
mobile phones.
Well, mobile phones. Didn't they prove that mobile phones don't give you cancer? That was all a load of old nonsense.
Well, there are still people walking around like they're on The Apprentice. Tell them.
Yeah,
I know that mobile phones do not cause fires in garages, and petrol stations. Despite what the fella said to me the other day when he wouldn't turn my petrol pump on until I'd end my phone call. So to spite him, I drove off. And they do not affect the machines in hospitals, and they do not crash aeroplanes.
No, they actively encourage people to use mobile phones in their hospitals now anyway, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're encouraged. There's signs up saying, please, we're begging you, use your mobile phone.
The reason I rang, though, you talking about Tomorrow's World earlier.
Yes.
You think about, like, living on this planet at the moment, like people in the 40s and the 50s.
Yes.
You look at like where we come from, technology-wise, to where we are now. Isn't it a great time to be alive?
No.
You don't think no?
No, I think it's a lousy time to be alive.
Oh, okay.
Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't use it very often.
Why are you on Facebook?
I was asked to go on it, but by a friend who lives on the other side of the planet now.
What do you get out of being on Facebook?
Well, not very much because I don't use it very often.
No. I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Facebook is the biggest con of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It is pointless. It is pointless. You look, because I've got a Facebook page, profile, but I've got like maybe a handful of friends, 3 or 4, and I don't post on there. I use it so that I can do my Iain Lee official page and a Monkeys page, right? But I'm looking at my timeline and the crap that's coming. I've befriended a couple of Americans to help with this. The crap that's coming up in my timeline, and I'm thinking, I'm friends with like 7 people, right? Most people are friends with, I'm going to say the average is 150. I'm plucking that. When they log into their computer, what must it look like? Pictures of babies and pictures of meals and pictures of the dog and funny pictures of them stood by a tree and a picture of a cow. And what is the point?
The thing is, Ian, some people, and you're going to have to really open your mind to this, some people are really interested in other people.
It's just a brag fest, though.
Yes.
Well, yes, it can be.
Can you believe most of the stuff that's on there? Probably not.
I suggest that the people who are living their lives on Facebook are probably not getting very much of a life outside it.
Here's the thing, right? You're saying that people like it because they're interested in people's lives.
I think so. I think there's a bit of that.
Okay. What happened 10 years ago when we didn't have Facebook?
You lost touch with people.
Well, there was a natural selection. Or
you kept in touch with the people that you needed to keep in touch with.
Thank you very much indeed. I don't want my the best friend of my first girlfriend sending me a friend's request. I don't want that. I don't want people I went to school with getting in touch with. It's natural selection. Then we're not meant to be friends. If you were really interested in people's lives, right?
Oh, I'm not saying I am.
Okay, well, I'm
saying some people are.
If a person was genuinely interested in someone's life,
they'd be in it.
Well, they will be in it. They will be phoning them up.
What are you going to do? You're going to phone somebody up and have the conversation.
Phone them up. Send them a letter. Send them an email. Say, hey, Ian, I was thinking of you today because me and the wife, we went and saw this film, and when we were there, I've got a picture. I'm attaching a picture of a thing that I saw, and it reminded me of you. You'll get the job. You send that off. Beautiful. Send them a text.
I thought, how well do you know me?
No, I don't. I'm not. So, but send them a text. Facebook is this thing. It's this thing we talked about, dumbing down. Facebook is dumbing us down so that all of our information is in the centre of a screen, and it goes, and we scroll through this stuff all in the centre of it. We don't look to the left, we don't look to the right, we look to the centre of the screen. It is dumbing us down. More so than Twitter, I think.
And do you know what else it is?
Yeah.
You know those aggravating round robins that you get in some people's
yep.
Christmas cards who assume that you want to know about
Yeah.
what everyone's doing now? It's that.
Yeah. Go on, Ian.
Ian, can I ask you a question?
You certainly can.
Completely different subject. I do apologise, but you know we were talking about first thing was you bought last night.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question? What would you think would be the best example of a cover version of a song being better than the original?
That's an excellent question.
I've got one. Can I throw one into the...
I know the answer to this as well, and I can't think what it is. Go on, yeah.
Handbags and grab bags, Stereophonics.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Get off.
Delete my number, Ian.
Stereophonics?
Really?
Delete my number.
What do you think this is?
Delete my number. and I'm unfriending you on Facebook. This is over.
Ugh, who is this guy?
This bromance is over. He's gone.
Stereophonics.
Jeez. That's a good question.
Share the Shoop Shoop song.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want you serious. You got a cough?
My cup of tea went down the wrong hole.
There's I had a good song the other day.
Here's one, and it's controversial.
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani, when she did It's My Life.
I don't know the song.
You do.
No, I don't.
It's a classic 80s song. Hang on. Talk.
I don't really know what you're talking about. But cover songs that are better than the originals. That's an excellent. That is an excellent question. Let me think a little bit about it. I'll think a bit more.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Evening, Keith.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Keith.
Hi, Ian. I don't know if you remember. I'm wanting to update you about the sports video about fast running I was going to do to help you with a rabbit hole.
Now, just Keith, I've been off with tonsillitis recently.
Yeah, I know.
So I've been a little bit ill, and I've if I'm completely honest, bits of my memory have been erased. So you've called before, have you?
It's like I had first heard about Rabbit Hole through the Iain Lee show, and I thought I might be able to help to launch it because I do sports videos. Do you remember?
I've got you now. Right? Okay. So the Rabbit Hole is the TV channel I'm doing on YouTube, and if I remember correctly, you've got a young niece who is a fast cyclist.
It's my nephew Harry.
It's Harry, and he's into his running.
He's a fast runner.
Yes.
And I do a sports video.
Yes.
So I wanted to send you one sports video, fast running, featuring Harry,
Yes. Well, I still haven't received that.
No, you haven't, and I feel quite apologetic about it, but that's what I'm here to update you see.
Okay.
Because we just live, there's a playing field right next to us here, right?
Yep.
And they've marked it out for athletics over the bank holiday.
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought, that's a brilliant chance to get Harry down and do the video for Ian,
Yeah.
But I don't normally let him on this field because the headmaster's got a couple of Doberman,
Yes.
one of them might be a lass, I'm not sure. but a couple of Doberman anyway. And you have to do a lot of dirt, so I don't really like him playing on there. So I went
the headmaster?
He's got 2 Doberman.
And he doesn't clean up their dirt?
No, we watch him from the top. I tell you...
That is outrageous!
I know, because they're big dogs, so they do big drops, you know what I mean?
Well, they're the size of human drops sometimes.
I tell you what, some of them, I go and clear them up with a tennis racket, you know, I leave it under and I shot them out of the way of where the kids are going to be. But I tell you, some of them are the length of the racket handle.
Blimey. You got to be careful with that, Keith, because you can go blind with all that.
Well, listen up to my story, because it gets worse do with the... You see, so I got Harry out there, right? And I have a video recorder, old-fashioned one, but it's better quality than a phone.
Right, okay, so like VHS?
Oh, I wouldn't know, Ian, I'm sorry. It's got play, record, pause, that sort of thing.
Fast forward and rewind.
Yeah, you take a little card out.
Oh, okay, it's digital. Yeah, okay.
So I stand at one end and he runs towards me, right?
Yes.
And I've put up, do you know those little, the sort of posts they use to mark off the cricket green? It's like a metal spikes. Are you with me there, Ian?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not a big fan of cricket, but I think I've got it, yeah.
Right, well, I've got a load of tape from, do you know Thornton's and Hotel Chocolate? The retail outlets for family chocolate. And they do the ribbons and that. Well, I've collected the ribbons and I made like a finishing line for him. Do you know what I mean?
Out of Hotel Chocolate ribbons?
And Thornton's. I've combined the two, like, you know, it's a little bit striking because of the different colours, but...
it's a lot of chocolate.
It's not my chocolate. I'm allergic to it. It brings me out in humps. So, of course, he runs towards it, and I got some beautiful shots of him. But as he came through the tape, it's tough stuff, that Hotel Chocolate stuff. So it pulled up the... it didn't break, is what I'm trying to say. It pulled up the posts. Oh, he fell on his face, and the terrible thing is just it almost touching his lip, he fell into the dog dirt. So that's pretty bad, that, isn't it?
That is disgusting.
And another thing I just wanted to say is that I've got worried because we put the video up and you can see Harry's face, right? And a couple of years back, I took some pictures of his 14th birthday party, right? And a mate then a couple of days later got in touch with me because I'd put him on Facebook, what you were talking about, like. Yeah. And he sent me this photo, and it was from one of them, like, bestiality sites, you know? And someone had cut out Harry's head and put it on top of a monkey. And, I mean, that's awful for the kid, isn't it? That's what will happen these days, so I don't want to send you it. I want to pixelate it. Ian.
Yes, that is awful. Poor lad. What was the monkey doing? Or is it best not to say?
Well, do you know, in the monkey's hand, they'd put on, like, a tube of lube.
A tube of lube?
So like lube, you know, so it was pretty obvious what was going on.
Yeah.
So...
That's horrible. I've got kids. That's horrible. You don't want people doing that. Some sick people out there.
You've got to be so careful. I need to learn about pixelation. Then it's all go, fast running.
But I don't want to put a video up of him falling into some dog dirt, even if it is pixelated.
No, I'm going to destroy that one, Ian. I'm going to get him out again at the weekend.
Yeah.
Or there's a bank holiday coming up towards the end of the month.
There is, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm either going to... If I haven't learned how to pixelate, I'll put a mask on it. I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but I don't want it, you know, it's his privacy, isn't it, really?
It is we could do this as a phone-in, Keith, actually. 0344 499 1000. Whose face would you like to see on Keith's nephew, Harry, in his running video?
That's kind, that's nice.
No monkeys. We don't want to relive that.
Monkeys is a sore subject.
We don't want to relive that, but maybe...
no, thanks.
Maybe a sports... Paula Radcliffe?
Aye, that'd be nice. That'd be canny if you could get her permission, like.
I don't think you'd need her permission to do it.
Aye. Well, he's pretty damn fast anyway. You only get little glimpses of it, you know.
Well, Keith, listen, I hope everything's all right. I hope you how did you clean the dog dirt off?
Well, we took him to the hospital, but they told us, I thought he might need a tetanus.
Yeah.
But he didn't need a tetanus. They just said use a wet wipe or a cloth or something like that. I have some hand wash that describes itself as for sanitising, so we put a bit of that on, and he's absolutely fine.
Brilliant.
Honestly, he's as fast as I've seen him.
Keith, it's an important issue with loads of important issues, and shame on that headmaster for not cleaning that dog dirt up. That really is disgusting. Shame on him.
Quite right. I'll get it to you as soon as I can, Ian.
Thank you, mate. Take care, Keith. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers, fella. 0344 499 1000. Whose face would you like to see on Keith's? That's terrible about
Lionel Richie.
That's terrible about that bestiality site.
Yeah, I mean, where to begin? The Doberman or women? The
Jubaloob.
Flipping heck. Some people, eh?
Okay. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. So here's the they've got three of the things that Tomorrow's World got wrong. Only three. The automated pub, 1965. Dial a number and the barman brings you your drink. Oh, I heard a song today and I thought, oh, they sound like a gay Everly Brothers. Oh, I'll tell you what it was. I'll tell you exactly what I'll play it to you. Because Shell Talmey's coming. It's a song that he produced. If I'm feeling bold, I may suggest this to him. But Shell Talmey, who produced, The Who and the Kinks and all, and there's a brilliant, he's coming on to talk about a compilation CD that's coming out. I was listening to it, today. And it's brilliant. It's got some, I'll bring it out of the car tomorrow. It's got a handful of songs that I knew, and then it's got loads and loads of songs I'd never heard. There's one by this brilliant act as well, called, go away, called something like Infinite Langley. Oh. And it's brilliant. But then this song came up, and I thought, this just sounds like a gay Everly Brothers.
Trees swaying in the summer breeze.
Do you know this song?
Yeah.
Showing off their silver leaves.
Gay Everly.
As we walked by.
Then wait.
Soft kisses on a summer's day. Laughing all our cares away. Just you and I. Sweet.
It's pleasant, but it's
summer nights.
Quite lit. But he produced this, just Chad and Jeremy.
In the starry sky. They say that all good things must end someday.
No. What was this group? Infinite Langley or something?
I like the swelling strings.
Yeah, the version I had didn't have strings on. Infinite Langley. They kind of be called Infinite Langley. That's not a name of something. Langley. There's a brilliant. I've never heard of this group before. You're not helping much, Catherine. If I'm going to,
I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, I know, but you've got Google. Langley.
Band called Langley.
Shell Talmey.
Might be called Langley.
Perpetual Langley.
What did you think it was?
Infinite Langley.
Oh, you were nearly there.
Listen to this. This is brilliant. Perpetual Langley. Here we go. Have some of this. There we go. never heard of them. Shall tell me produced it. Paul, you said you'd call him once tonight. This is your third call.
No, my second.
Your third?
Okay, I'll agree to screw you.
Okay. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Yeah, and there's this album is, I would say, about 80% of the stuff on there I've never heard, and most of it is brilliant, brilliant. There's a band on there that I'm sort of vaguely aware of, and someone was going to send me a book about them, and we never. Listen to this, The Creation. Listen to this. This is a song. This is a Shell Tell Me production. The Creation are one of the great lost bands of the 60s, apparently. I don't know as much about them as I need to, but the guy that produced that, boy oh boy, doesn't that sound like I Can't Explain by The Who? Mm-hmm. Produced by the same guy. Just imagine for a second, right, that we're here, and on the other side of that glass, it's the 4 members of The Who recording My Generation. And we're there. And we've got the power to click a button and go, yeah, Roger, can you just back away from the mic? And Keith, if you can just tone it down a bit. Let's try again. That's what he did. That was his job. And we're going to talk to him tomorrow. Man alive. 15-year-old me is just foaming at the mouth with excitement about that. Really doesn't get any better than that. What a great booking. Another hour to go, dear listener. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Suggestions for Keith's nephew Harry, what face he could have on the mask. Do you know what? I think we're going to get that video. I really think we're going to get that video at some point to go on the channel. I've got a feeling that's going to happen. Facebook, it's a load of old pony. Was there anything else? Prince Philip?
Footballer food.
Oh, loads of people tweeted me some of these footballer food because people are people like that kind of rubbish. Cannelloni dalglish, nice. Maradona kebab. Well done, Scott. That's another Scott. Maradona kebab. I like that. Well, that's it. It's those two. It's just those. That's enough. That's enough. Well, tonight's proving to be a right old little roller coaster. I'm going to go for a Waz. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Differently interesting nocturnal emissions from a legend of late night radio. Iain Lee, on air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
That lad, the surfer, flipping heck. 30 hours he was
30 hours in the water, 30 miles out. And he doesn't fancy surfing again. I think he can be forgiven.
Turn the thing off. Turn the computer off, please, Ed.
Yeah, I think he can be forgiven for not fancying it.
He's a bottler. He's not going again. He's a coward.
Don't blame him.
He's a coward. No, that is remarkable, really, isn't it?
Lucky.
Yeah.
Because they must have thought after a couple of hours, that's it. He had his chips.
It's funny he says he's not going out, because normally those kind of people that get it, that almost lose their lives go, well, it's not going to stop me. I'll be back out there, and Mother Nature may whip my ass this time, but it's 1-0 to her, but I'm going to get my own back.
30 hours, though.
No. There's that film, isn't there, that's based on a true story, but about a couple that went deep-sea diving on like a trip in, I don't know, the Philippines or Thailand or somewhere. where health and safety is not as important as here. And they got left there. They got left. Yeah, they got left. So it's a group of about 20 people. And the bloke counted wrong. And it's a true story. I mean, the film, what happens to them afterwards is entirely made up because how would you know? But yeah, there was about 20 of them, and it was a big story. And they got counted wrong. And they went back, and no one knew about it. I think it was for like a day. It's like 24 hours. And of course, when they went back, they were gone.
Oh, no.
And so the film is really one of the bleakest films I've ever seen in my life. It's them just in the water going, well, they'll be coming back soon. What's that brushing my foot? Oh, God, it's a shark. It's just, it doesn't bear thinking about. I don't like
films like that where it's people drowning slowly or people trapped down a hole.
Oh, No,
I don't like it.
I don't like the thought of being a distance away from buildings. Don't like being too far away from buildings. Now, whether that be in the sea, in the air, or in just like the countryside, up a mountain or in the countryside. I don't like that. I like to be able to see buildings and know how I'm going to get to a building.
Because, of course, you had that episode, didn't you, when you went walking in the hills in Wales?
Yeah, I did, actually. I did. I'm glad you reminded me of that horrific experience.
Sorry.
Where 2 consecutive days, I thought I was going to die because I got lost. And the second day was actually very, very serious. I was thinking about that today, actually. How I had to gambol down the side of a mountain like a mountain goat.
Oh, the way you described it, you coaxed yourself down. Gingerly.
Ginger, coax.
Well, gambling sounds a bit more jolly.
What do you know? Is there a Coke machine in this building?
Yeah.
Can you get me a Coca-Cola? I've got no money, though.
That's not like you. What's going on?
My second Coke of the day. My body is craving. My body is craving
Give me a second.
a Coca-Cola. Oh, this is your fourth phone call, Paul.
Okay, two things about athletics.
Hang on a minute. Your first phone call, you said, I will only call once.
Yeah, well, you get people talking. You have a way of making people talk,
yes,
don't you?
It is my job to make people talk.
Okay, right,
The fella that had a go at me on Twitter yesterday saying I mock the vulnerable, I'm the vulnerable and I'm being mocked.
No, I don't mock you, and I'm not vulnerable in any way. No, I don't agree with that. I said to you earlier.
I'll give you a punch in a minute. Yes.
Okay, right. Two things about athletics. One, the name of an athlete's put on as a face, as a figure for that kid, yeah?
Yes.
Got to be Roger Bannister.
What?
Got to be the face of the famous athlete Roger Bannister.
All right, okay. What does Roger Bannister look like?
Well, he's in his coffin now, so I don't know what he looks like.
So you want to put a picture of a coffin on a child's face?
No, I mean Roger Bannister crossing the finish line when he broke the 4-minute mile.
All right, but what does he look like if he's so famous?
Well, he's got kind of like what's fashionable today is hair, which is swept back, slick back, what I call a real man's haircut.
Real man.
Which is a bit.
All right, Paul. Someone else has called in now, so we don't need you to fill. Evening, Marty.
Hey, Ian. Hey, Kath. How you guys doing?
Kath has gone off. Kath's not feeling very well this evening. She's got a bit of a stomachache. I've got a sore throat, so she's nipped off to get me a Coke and have a little breather. But you know what? I'm better than I was yesterday, Marty, and yesterday I was better than I was the day before. So I am heading in the right direction.
That's good. You sound much more livelier today. I have to say that.
I feel the last 2 days I've had to have Kath in for the whole show to kind of hold my hand as I gingerly step through it. Tonight I only had to ask her in halfway through, so we're going in the right direction. It's all good.
Right direction, that's sure. Hey, so I got 3 things for you, if that's okay.
Of course it is, man.
All right, let's see. Footballers who are foods actually have 2 real footballers who play in Italy. One guy is called Massimo Macaroni.
Oh, beautiful.
And the other guy, wait for this guy's got an even better name, better than Massimo Macaroni, is Kevin Lasagna.
Shut the front door.
No, that is for real.
There is a man with a name, as no disrespect to Kevin's, as plain and dull as Kevin, And his surname is as exotic as lasagna?
Yes, sir.
That's incredible!
It's the best name in the world, isn't it?
Someone's tweeted me Paul Mintz. I'm afraid Kevin Lasagna beats Paul Mintz hands down.
Hands down.
That's a brilliant one. Thank you
Hands
for that
down.
one. We love that, Marty. We'll have that one.
That's
yes.
all right. Okay, and number 2, the running video.
Yeah.
Who can you use as a face? Instead of a monkey, you could use one of the monkeys, like Davy Jones.
Davy Jones, that would be nice, yeah. The kid probably won't know who Davy Jones is, but it's good to start their education young.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, my music education started young. It's the best way.
It is totally the best way. In fact, I'm supposed to be taking the boys to see the Beach Boys soon. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which will be nice. Oh, no! Donald, where's your trousers? Sorry, Coke's just gone everywhere, Marty. It's like
there's nothing worse than Coke everywhere.
It's like New Year's Eve. What a waste of Coke. What was your third thing, boss?
It's a sticky fest. All right, the third thing, it's going back a few weeks, actually.
Yeah, go on.
About the general election and how you can make it interesting.
Okay. Are we allowed to talk about the general election and making it interesting?
As long as it's balanced.
Okay. Make it. You got to make it balanced, Marty.
I'm going to try my best. So my idea is karaoke election. So everyone who rings in and has any kind of viewpoint or discussion point on the election has to sing it in a karaoke style.
Catherine?
I'm not averse to it in principle.
Marty, it's a done deal. Thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. There's a footballer called Kevin Lasagna.
Is there?
According to Marty, there is, yes. Kevin Lasagna. Paul Mintz, someone sent in.
That's good. For Paul Ince.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep.
I get it.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Doesn't Brad Pitt look gaunt? Here's the thing. Statins. They're everywhere. As a man of a certain age, I should be aware of statins. I've got no idea what statins are. Are they good? Yeah. Are they bad? Yeah. Good or bad? Yeah. I don't know. Don't care, but I don't know. But statins.
I think it's about blood pressure or something.
Statins. My blood pressure is a little bit high. When I went to United to go and have some medical... I don't know if I'm allowed to say why I had to have my medical tests and my rabies shot. I don't think I'm allowed to say it yet. I've certainly not got the check. But my blood pressure was quite high. But they first took my blood pressure by... they took the blood pressure. I had to walk up 3 flights of stairs. And then they took the blood pressure. She went, oh, that's high, but we've walked up the stairs. Then she did it again, and it was still a bit high. And then I went downstairs, and they did it like 20 minutes later, and it was still a bit high. And he said, I wouldn't worry about it. I was like, really? The doctor for the Rolling Stones took my blood pressure. Isn't that funny? Mick and Keith's.
So I'm guessing he's...
personal physician.
I'm guessing he's seen some things.
No, I don't think he's Dr. Robert. You know, I think he's the good doctor. As opposed to the bad doctor. Now the real doctor's in the house, boys. Now that square's gone. I'm going to give you the injections that you are really needing to get through this concert. Here we go. Adele is the richest musician under 30 in the British Isles. Gosh.
Good for her.
That's a lot of Vens. According to the latest edition of the Sunday Times Rich List, the Rolling in the Deep singer's global success earned her £40 million last year, rocketing her wealth to £125 million. If I was worth £125 million, I'd quit. Be like, yeah, I got this enough.
Well, she said she doesn't fancy touring again. Why would you?
Yeah. Now, experts reckon the star from Tottenham, North London, is on target to become Britain's all-time highest-earning musician. Okay. Now, so here's the list, the top 20 music millionaires.
This is under 30, or is this
No,
all
this
age?
is UK.
Right.
Okay. So, joint 19, it's Adele and Brian May.
Oh, Okay.
125. 18 is Charlie Watts. Charlie Watts? But he didn't write any of the songs. That's where the money is. 17, Ozzy and Sharon. 16, Robbie Williams. At 15, with £152 million, Sir Tim Rice. 14 is Sir Tom Jones. 13 is Roger Waters. Oh.
I don't know who that is.
All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. Right. Joint 11, Rod Stewart and Eric Clapton. 10 is Sting. Hang on a minute. Hang on 8 minutes. 2 at number 8, Ringo Starr, 200 million. Also top music millionaire, number 8, Michael Flatley.
Whoa.
He's a tap dancer.
He makes beats with his feet, but I don't think he does anything.
Oh, this is nice. Number 7, worth 210 million.
Also, Michael Flatley's American.
He's Irish.
Well, he's Irish-American. He's more American, isn't
he? Well, no, he's been to America. He's Irish.
No, he's not.
He's Irish.
No, he's not.
He's Irish.
I'm pretty sure he isn't.
This is a nice one. Number 7, 210 million. Olivia and Dhani Harrison. That's nice, isn't it? That's nice. That's nice. We like that one. Number 6, Keith Richards. Number 5, Mick Jagger. Number 4, Elton John. Number 3, well, hang on a second. Number 3, it's U2.
Which brings us swiftly back to the non-Irish Michael Flatley, born in Chicago, Illinois.
What's his passport? What colour is his passport?
He is American.
Well, then he should be
American dancer,
shot.
choreographer and musician. He's Michael Ryan Flatley. He's age 58, born Chicago, Illinois. Nationality, American. Off the list.
Now, so Elton John, right, is worth 290 million at number 4. Then number 3, it's a big leap to 548 million, but it's all of U2.
Right.
That's just bent.
Is that because they share equally?
Then there's a big leap from 3 to 2, 548 million up to 740 million. Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber. And then, so who's number 1?
McCartney.
Right. Goes from 740 to 780 million. But it's not McCartney.
Oh.
It's Sir Paul McCartney and Nancy Chevelle, his wife.
Because she was independently rich, wasn't she?
She was richer than McCartney, I think. She had more money than McCartney. So that, if he's just married her for her money to get to the number 1 in the list, that's cheap. Here we go. Adele is the only solo female artist on the list, which is topped by Sir Paul McCartney and his wife Nancy Chevelle, 57, who are worth a combined 780 million. She had more money than McCartney
I think
did.
She did, yeah.
So she shouldn't be allowed in that list. Hey, she shouldn't, should she? That is bang out of order. He earned an estimated £8 million from the Desert Trip Festival in California. Sir Paul is joined on the list by Ringo Starr. That must be gutting to Ringo that Olivia and Danny are worth significantly more than he is. That must be gutting. He must be fuming at that. Here we go. Isn't it funny? Didn't know any of this. The Harrisons' wealth reportedly declined by £10 million after... Is it Danny or Darnie? I'm going to say Danny. Danny, 38, because only 5 years younger than me, was divorced from Icelandic former model Solveig Karadottir.
Oh.
Didn't know he was married. He's still a kid in my opinion. I don't understand why you two are together. As a group, I don't get it. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Firemen sparked a whodunit mystery after peeing in female officers' service boots. Now, this doesn't shock me, surprise me, or upset me, because we have both worked with a gentleman who has done a poo in a friend's boot.
Yes.
As revenge for some misdemeanour that certainly didn't warrant a turd in a boot. He did, didn't he?
I can think of a lot of people who've maybe wronged me or slighted me. I've never thought to go into that kind of area to get back at them.
And from then on, if anyone crossed him or wound him up the wrong way, he'd look at you and point and go, just make sure you know where your boots are. And that was the threat. That was the threat. He was going to put in a boot. So this is nothing. This is nothing.
No.
Compared to that.
Actually, in the First World War, that was a good way of softening up your boots.
You didn't pee in it.
Yeah.
No, you did. You didn't. You peed on it.
And in.
No, you didn't.
What's the point of peeing on it?
Well, that's what softens up the leather.
No, you want it to mould to the shape of your foot.
Jesus. 2 women at fire stations, 17 miles apart, found their £100 Gore-Tex footwear filled with urine.
That's nasty.
I don't like people who say urine, and I don't like people who say says. Well, she says that my urine is up for auction. Don't like people who say auction as well. Do you know what I mean? People who say says. We used to have a teacher, Miss Downing.
Do I say that?
No, you don't. We used to Miss Downing who say says. 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 I don't really like. Here's what. As I get older, this is what the conclusion I'm coming to.
It's a shorter list what you do like, isn't it?
I don't like people. I don't. This is why if I'd made 125 million quid, I'd be right, that's it, I'm off. Don't worry, guys, you're never going to hear from me again. All the haters, all the likers, you're never going to hear from me again. I'm going to buy a farm in the middle of nowhere. Ta-ta! And that's it. The only time people would see me would be like every 6 months when I would resurface to go and, I was going to say stock up on DVDs and stuff, but I'd just get them delivered in. I'd get them delivered in.
Well, you could have your own Blockbuster in the back garden.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd do. That would be it. I'd get DVDs sent in from Amazon. I'd stream Netflix.
You get Amazon, you get the studio sending them direct.
Exactly. But I wouldn't want any contact with anybody. I think I could do that. I think I could
do. You, though?
Yeah, I do. Oh, no, I totally could. I have got at home the biggest pile of books to catch up on. And I've asked you to chase up a couple of books and people that might be good guests. And I've got about 25 books I need to read. And they've all had to go to one side now because I'm doing a thing about Andy Kaufman for Radio 4 next week. So I've got to read an Andy Kaufman book just to kind of gen up a bit and remind myself. And I've brought the wrong book with me But so I've got enough books to last me a good 10 years. But that's just books. That's not games. That's not Xbox. That's not Switch. That's not movies. Just books. 10 years. Books. And they'll probably write more books in that 10 years that I want to read.
Oh, yeah, there'll definitely be more books, yeah.
Yep. So I could very, very happily, and there'll be people at home going, "Oh, we should do it. Give me the money. Give me 100 million quid, 50 million quid, 50 million quid, and I'll disappear. I'll be gone. You'll never hear from me again. Promise." Wonderful.
Now you know your price.
I'll be off Twitter because I wouldn't need to sell anything. I'll be off Facebook. I'd close down my website. I'd close down all my email accounts. Boom, I'm gone.
You'd be like Willy Wonka.
I would not. Bosses launched a probe and senior officers and HR staff visited both stations to have a sniff.
Oh.
They demanded all personnel submit to DNA tests in an attempt to catch the culprits. Some firefighters gave swabs, but others refused, insisting they could not be forced to do so. It is thought some men were jealous of women joining the service and getting better privileges and promotions because of an alleged PC agenda by top... What is this? London's Burning? But when did that come out? 1985. That was about a woman joining the fire brigade before it just became the bill, but with fire brigades. But there's a bloke in there called Vaseline, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Never used to watch it.
My mum used to love London's Burning.
Yeah. But that was about a woman joining the fire brigade.
They were a couple by the end, I think.
Yeah. Programmes that have not enriched society. Like, let's play a little game of tennis, okay? Programmes that have not enriched society and the world would be just as good without. London's Burning.
No, well, I like that.
No, it's on the list.
Well, if you're putting that in, then Soldier Soldier.
Heartbeat.
Some people love that. Okay, here comes one.
Yeah?
Sullivan's.
Ooh, yeah, I like. All right, The Cedar Tree.
Okay.
I've got a good one.
That Inspector Morse spin-off thing, what was it called?
Endeavour. Yeah, okay, here's one. Inspector Morse.
No!
Yep.
No.
Yeah, it's pointless.
I like that.
Well, how is the world better because of Inspector Morse?
Because it showed that you might be working class and everything, but it's proper clever and liked.
Rubbish.
You like classical
All right, here's one. Darling Buds of May.
Oh, no, I like that as well.
No, it's rubbish.
No.
See, but the world is no better nor worse as a direct result of the Darling Buds.
It was escapism.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. That is. You're a big fat wife, and we have sex, and you're perfect.
They weren't married. That was part of the thing.
Oh, jeez.
No, I like that. That was a bit of escapism. That.
Rubbish. Pointless.
Pointless. You can have.
All creatures great and small.
No, I like that.
Oh, for God's sakes, Catherine, this isn't going to work. Trust me. You like wallpaper. You like watching, and I'm watching wallpaper at the moment. I'm watching Better Call Saul, the prequel to Breaking Bad, right?
And nothing happens in it.
Nothing. All it is, right, is it's a so it's the character, the lawyer character, in Breaking Bad is his bent lawyer. So it's his backstory, and it shows you how he went from being like a good, honest guy with a few problems to being this bent character. So all it's building up to is the beginning of Breaking Bad. Mm-hmm. That's all it's building up to, right? Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the trick. That's the gimmick. That's the USP. The unique selling point is it will build up to the beginning of Breaking Bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nothing happens. And I was one of those people that when people say that in Lost nothing happens. The stuff did actually happen. In this, nothing happens. Bob Odenkirk, the main guy, and Michael McKean, his brother, brilliant actors. If they weren't in it, I wouldn't be watching it. I'm watching it because they are watchable. But style over substance. There is no content. Nothing happens. And I'm watching it because I still can't read. I haven't got the focus to sit down and read. So it's 42 minutes and 50 seconds of wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to doze in front of it today because nothing was happening. Oh, for Christ, this is your 6th phone call.
Okay, right. Quickly. I'll be quick.
Yes, you will. So most TV programmes serve no purpose.
Yeah, no, but... Right. Isn't the purpose...
Go on.
Entertainment? Escapism?
No.
Fantasy?
No. What was Leith's 3?
Inform, educate, entertain.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have it all at the same time.
No, you do. I think you do. I think, as I get older, I think you do. Here's something. As I get older, I realise Mary Whitehouse was right more often than she was wrong. And if we hadn't have had Mary Whitehouse in the 70s and 80s, things would be a lot worse now. And we don't have a Mary Whitehouse figure now. We have the fringy, like, Christian Concern and fringy things like that. But we don't have a figure that stands up and says, what is being shown on television is filth and is rubbish. We don't have that. Here's an interesting thing. There's a series on Netflix, called 13 Reasons Why. It's about a young girl who commits suicide, and they show they show her committing suicide, how she does it. I've not seen it. I was listening to the media show on Radio 4 tonight. They show you how she commits suicide. Now, if that were on BBC, Channel 4, ITV, Sky, they would not be allowed to show that because there is an Ofcom regulation that you cannot show the means to which people commit suicide. Okay, and it's kind of accepted, but because Netflix is not a terrestrial, is not a British-based channel, because it's a streaming service from abroad that is located, I think it's located in the Netherlands, they are excluded from Ofcom rules. Isn't that incredible?
So they could show anything.
They can show anything they want because they are excluded from Ofcom rules.
Would the same go for Amazon?
No, Amazon, no, because their offices are considered to be in the United Kingdom. Right. Even though Netflix has an office here, its base is considered to be in the Netherlands. I think I've got this right. Someone listening will know better than me. Amazon is considered to be in the United Kingdom, so it does fall within the Ofcom rules, Amazon Prime. And that's incredible. That is incredible. And my kids watch Amazon. They have their own logins. They don't. They know not to use mine. And actually, I need to be a little bit more cautious around that. And they only ever watch it generally when we're around, although there are exceptions. But that means that potentially anything could be on there. And I don't watch TV now because it's rubbish. But I do think we need someone. The flack that woman took, Mary Whitehouse took, she took a lot of flack, right? And I think for the most part, I would say 6 times out of 10, she was probably right. She was probably right that things were going too far. And had we not had her as a barrier, who knows where we'd be now? And who knows where we're going to be in 5 years?
The thing is, someone needs to represent that view. Someone needs to be the stick in the mud.
Yep.
So that if we do go beyond, we don't go that far beyond. At the moment, it's a free-for-all, isn't it? Geordie Shore, right?
Yep.
There are people who've made themselves famous through wetting themselves.
Yep. And girls look up to her and them as role models.
They are queuing up. I know someone who's on the crew of that, and he said that when they take them out on the town, right, they put them in these VIP areas, and there are girls lining up to go home with these lads. To be on camera.
You don't want your you don't want your girls to think that that's a respectable role model for a young woman.
No.
I don't want my boys to think that that's how women should behave, and that's how men should behave towards women. I don't want my boys to grow up thinking that that's a career path.
But it is.
Well,
but it's a short-term one.
Yeah, for a very, very tiny percentage of people.
But then the counter-argument to that is, it's better, they're going to earn more money doing that than they would have doing anything honest. Quote-unquote honest.
Well.
Aren't they? That's the aim of the game.
0344, saying that, I'm looking at a page of it's a naked woman stood on top of a mountain. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call. We didn't get to the bottom of that story, did we, about peeing in boots? Last night, West Midlands Fire Service confirmed a probe into the incident. A source said service issue boots are waterproof and would have bottled the pee. The women were disgusted. Then all hell broke loose with the DNA samples. It's caused huge upset. One source said long-serving firemen have been irritated by women with only a few years on the job being promoted over them. There's been a lot of gender jealousy. The boots attack was not coincidence, but a coordinated action by some pretty bitter people. No firefighters have been disciplined or suspended, but fire chief said the file had been left open. Well, there we go. If you had to put out a fire with your pee, could you, I mean, it's easier
Depends
for
how
men.
big the fire was.
Imagine you've got 10 firemen, right, and they've run out of water, right, and because we all know they're so hunky, and one of them, the sergeant says, right, boys, take your trousers off. What are you talking
Emergency
about?
hoses, chaps.
What are you talking about, sir? Just do it. We did this back in 76 and we're going to do it again now, guys. It's unconventional and you can refuse at any point. But, guys, I want you to take your trousers off. So they all take their trousers off. And they're all there hunky. And he says, now, guys, take your pants down. What, sir? What are you talking about? He says, we did this in 76. We're out of water. There's only one way to stop this fire. Take your pants down, guys. And so they all take their pants down, right? A couple are a bit reluctant. The younger ones are a bit reluctant. They do it. And then the sergeant says, right, one by one, I want you to put your penises in my mouth.
What?
It turns out he's a pervert. It turns out, because they thought he was going to get them to urinate on the fire. But think about it. It's an office block on fire. 10 men whittling on it. That's not going to put it out at all. No, he was a pervert. And it wasn't until the third lad had his todger in his mouth that someone realised what was going on. And but the thing is, he didn't lose his job. He just got moved to another fire department.
Is that on Netflix?
I might have dreamt it. I'm sure that. He got moved to, they covered it. It was all hushed up and they moved him to another fire department. And he's still in charge because he's a good fireman. He was a good fireman. Just in the heat of the moment, he went perverted. But, I mean, what were they thinking, though? 10 firemen. It's an office block on fire. You can't put...
Also, that's going to singe.
Exactly. What's the... is there video footage of the snapper fish? You know what the snapper fish is?
Is that the one that goes up your...
Yeah. So if you're having a whittle in the Amazon...
Is that what it's called?
I don't know, but if you're having a whittle in the Amazon, it will climb up your stream of pee into your japper, inside, and it will lodge itself inside your penis by swimming up your urine.
The candiru.
The candiru. Sir, if you need to go to bathroom, you must do it nowhere near river because of the candiru.
My good man, if I need a pee, I shall have a pee. I need a pee. Sweet Jesus, there's a fish in my penis!
It looks like an anchovy.
Candiru. The candiru.
And it actually swims up the pee through the hole.
Hang on, I'm just finding...
Into the penis.
Hang on.
Up through the penis into the brain.
Stop.
Are we giving the candiru a bad name?
Yes. Many of these early records relied on tales from tribespeople or potentially dubious translations.
Liars. Don't trust tribespeople.
Other similar cases, blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't just go up men's, it goes up ladies. According to a negation. However, not one single documented case existed of a candiru swimming up somebody's penis.
Hang on a minute. Just because there's not one single documented case doesn't mean it didn't actually happen.
You would tell someone.
You'd be too embarrassed.
No, you wouldn't.
Hey, honey, why are you walking funny? No, nothing. You didn't just have a pee in the river, the Amazon, did you? No, because there's candiru around here. No, it's fine, honestly. Fine. What creatures live inside you? Tapeworm.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love a tapeworm. Because you can see it growing, can't you? You can see it growing, and they cut it and they pull it out.
No, what didn't they used to get a pencil, right?
Yep.
Spear a bit of bacon on it.
Go tapeworm fishing.
Put it between your teeth, and the tapeworm would come up, and you could wrap it round.
Oh no!
Fact.
Yeah, that is the biggest load of baloney.
It's a fact.
No, it is not.
It's a fact.
Where have you heard that?
I'm sure it was on Horrible Histories. Let me check.
No.
Tapeworm, bacon.
What, you put it in your mouth and it will come up because it could smell bacon?
Yeah.
Rubbish. Utter rubbish.
Here we go. Tapeworm infection.
It can't come out of your mouth.
Why not?
Because it's in, between your flesh.
It's in your intestines.
No, it can't come out of your mouth because it can smell bacon. Dear God.
And you wind the pencil round and it's like one of them licorice Catherine Wheel things.
No, mate, you've made that up. Okay.
People used to take them on purpose to lose weight.
Yeah, I know. Animals that can live in or on you. Tapeworm, ticks, head lice, crabs. Now, do crabs, the sexual crabs, do they look like They must look like little crabs.
Never seen them.
Well, they must look like crabs, otherwise they wouldn't be called crabs. They're not related to crabs, are they? Imagine if they were crab size. Imagine you had them in your pubic hair. Imagine an actual crab running around your pubis. Oh, they do look like crabs, don't they? But they'll be tiny, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Is that on your pictures from your Facebook page?
No, flipping it. Look at that. You can see them.
Yeah, dirty buggers.
Yuck.
Dirty buggers. Let's have some adverts.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Well, it's the last 10 minutes or so of the show. 0344 499 1000. I'm flagging, but I'm not flagging as much as I was yesterday. So that's a bonus, but I shall be going home and having a thoroughly good night's sleep. Then tomorrow to Manchester, northbound to Manchester, where we shall be going to a bloke called John's house, and we shall be rinsing his fridge. That's what we shall be doing. We shall be caning his drinks and nibbles and leaving a dirty protest. in a secret room in the house somewhere. That's what we're doing. Why are we going to his house? I can't remember. Seemed like a good idea.
We were going to be in the area anyway, and we said, does anyone fancy it?
Oh, yeah, let's make hay while the sun shines. No, he's very kind of him to offer us to go around his house. And, of course, we will not trash it, and we will bring a couple of bottles of wine and some bits and pieces, and he will be bored of us very quickly. We'll probably Periscope the show. Dear listener, we will Periscope the show if he's cool with that. It being his house, it's his call. Also, Saturday night, if you want to come and see the Rabbit Hole being recorded, we've got 5 tickets left. We can't shift those last 5 tickets, guys. Ticketsource.co.uk/Iain-Lee. But we will be Periscoping, and I stress Periscoping, not YouTubing it or Facebooking it or anything. We will be Periscoping the Rabbit Hole on Saturday evening. I don't know what time it starts. I guess from about 7:30 till about 10:30. Be ready then. So if you follow me on Periscope, what you can do in the meantime, and I've not looked to see how many there are there because I've been so ill, but I'll do it on Saturday, is if you want to get your pens and papers ready, phone up the Rabbit Hole answer phone. You can phone up when we're live on Saturday night, but you can phone up the Rabbit Hole answer phone and leave messages. Not too long. You know, kind of 30, 45 seconds seems to be optimum. If it's good and it's longer, you know, we'll play it, but that's a pretty good length. You can Skype, Hey Rabbit Hole Show. Hey Rabbit Hole Show. Or you can telephone, and it's just the cost of a local call. 0203 286 6370. 0203 286 6370. We've not called it. Shall we call it and see what happens? 0203 because actually the number might not be working even. 6370 because it stopped working for a while.
The person you're trying to reach is not available. Please leave a message after the beep.
Hello, it's me from the past. I just wanted to check, is future me feeling a bit better?
Is future Catherine still as annoying as this one here? Because she's getting right on my tits.
Rude.
Thanks very much. We need to record a personalised message.
We do, because that woman sounds very curt.
That's going to scare people away. The people you are calling are not here to take the call. Hey, you remember Rabbit Hole recently, a while ago? I played answer phone messages from an African-sounding woman who's been phoning my home phone.
Yes.
It goes on. So, a couple of times I've phoned back. Right, 14713. One time it was like an Asian gentleman. He went, she's not here. She's gone to America.
What?
Okay, will she call today? Well, she's got. I will pass on the number and tell her not to call it anymore. Brilliant. She kept calling. So then I phoned up again, and a different man answered. And I said, I'm getting calls from this number from an African-sounding lady. And she calls sometimes it's 3-4 times a day. And it's no great hassle, but I just wanted to know that she's ringing the wrong number. No one here like that. I said, man, come on, there is. It's an African, which isn't. He said, no one. There's no one who lives here like that. And then I can't remember exactly what he said, but the implication was, it was like a communal house.
All right.
There were different groups of people living there.
Like one of these HIMOs.
Sorry? I don't think you can call them HIMOs anymore.
Yes, you can. Houses of multiple
occupancy. I don't know. So I was like, okay. So, well, I'll ask around, but I don't really recognise the picture you're describing. I was like, okay. She phoned up today, and I answered the phone. I got to her, and I said, hey, listen, you're calling the wrong number. Silent. I could hear her breathing. I said, look, I don't know what you're calling for. I can never make out your messages, but you are calling the wrong number, and and you've been doing it for about a year, and I'm just starting to get a little bit wound up now. So if you could stop this number is wrong. I could hear her breathing, and I went, I tell you what, why don't you talk to me? My name's Ian. What's your name? Breathing. I said, you don't want to talk? We'll talk a little bit. Breathing. And then the dialing thing, as she was trying to dial another number.
How strange.
And the thing is, I cannot make her accent is so thick. I cannot make out who she's calling for, what she's asking for.
But the one I heard, she sounded very insistent, like she really needed to speak to someone.
She doesn't always sound so insistent. Right. She's not always so insistent. Sometimes she's insistent, but there's always messages from her, and it's weird because it's starting to annoy me now. And there's no reason it should. We never use that phone. I don't know what that number is. I have to look it up on my phone. I would certainly never ring it. I rang it once in an emergency because I couldn't get hold of my wife, and as I was ringing, I was thinking, no one's ever going to answer this phone. So I don't know why it annoys me, but it does.
I think she won't, because she won't be told.
I think that's it. And also, I'm intrigued as to what the hell is going on in that house. Mm-hmm. What is going on? Mate, here's the thing. Maybe she's like a slave, like a sex slave, and this is the only number she can dial.
Well, she had the chance to speak to a human being, and she decided that she would, breathe, and then try and call someone else while you're still on the phone.
It is the weirdest thing.
Can you not just block the number?
How? How do you do that?
You phone whoever your phone bill comes from and say, this is a nuisance.
I don't think you can block numbers like that.
You can.
I feel that feels a little bit cold.
Well, it's been a year of not talking to her. No one can say you didn't try.
When I go back after going to Manchester, there'll be another 3 or 4 messages from her. Is that mumbled? Is that?
Can you not specifically change your answer phone to
Hello.
speak to her? No, to say
we are welcome to be taking your call. No. I'm doing the voices from now on. I am doing the voices.
I don't feel right about you doing the voices.
That's your issue. That's your issue. It's your issue.
I think it's one of those kind of privilege things.
Go on. Now we're getting somewhere.
I think it can only be deemed offensive.
Why?
I think it's to do with, like, colonialism.
I don't think it is. It's got nothing to do with colonialism.
I think it has.
What? Okay, so why is the Chinese voice then?
Yeah.
What's that got to do with colonialism? We didn't have anything to do with China. We never even went to China. We went to China and they kicked our ass.
Mm. Yeah, and I know they probably do more offensive imitations of us, but...
Yeah.
We're not bothered by that, are we?
No. You've got, white guilt.
Yeah. I have.
Which is interesting. I'm not saying that in a critical way. It's interesting. And I think I have white guilt to a certain extent.
I think we deserve to have white guilt.
Well, there's a sentence to say with literally 2.5 minutes of the show left. I think we deserve to have white guilt. Wow. Why wasn't that the opening gambit at 10 o'clock? Because that would have carried us through.
Because you only just did the voice.
I think we deserve to have white guilt. I disagree strongly. I think we should certainly be aware.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Be careful and be respectful.
But being aware of our crimes and misdemeanours in the past, with so as not to repeat them.
But also that the situation is still sensitive for a lot of people. That's why I wouldn't go there.
But I don't think that equates to we deserve white guilt.
Well, all right then. I think we still have a way to go before we can start throwing the voices around.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree quite strongly with that. I think it's still an idea that's forming in my head.
And I'm just telling you what my gut says.
No, exactly, and I appreciate it. I'm not taking it as criticism at all. I appreciate it. It is an idea that is just kicking around in my head, and it's not fully formed, and it will form wrong, and it will gestate, and it will change, and it will,
I just think while people are still being treated differently because they're not white.
Yeah.
It's too sensitive a subject to be messing about with.
But yeah, Ant and Dec on their Saturday Night Takeaway.
But I'm not saying that was right. I thought that was weird.
Blacked up.
Yeah.
Black women, and they were doing the voices.
And they were doing kind of like a...
Hello there!
Yeah, rusty, almost like a rusty Lee, but over...
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on As if we measure our morals. Look at it, we've got 30 seconds left. Now the show's getting good. As if we measure our morals by a Saturday night television show. But that was a Saturday night primetime television show in this century.
But I don't think that the time is right I don't think that the decision is the white people's to make.
Back to white guilt. We have to stop.
Yeah.
Dear listener, thank you for your support, and we look forward to talking to you from Manchester, England, tomorrow evening from a bloke called John's house. Make sure you got your phone switched on, because we're going to text you all the address, and if we don't get back to our hotel by 1:30 tomorrow night, can you send the police round, please, because we're probably being used as sex slaves. Thank you very much indeed. Don't forget to download the podcasts. Until tonight at 10 from us, ta-ta.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
As the nation gets ready to go to the polls, don't miss Talk Radio's dedicated election 2017 coverage.
Join the conversation party
on your election station, Talk Radio.